It's time for Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. The first hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome into Sports Time on a Thursday. Bryant and Brett with you for the next 3 hours, and we've got a ton to get to. A lot of college football with the weekend fastly approaching. Also NFL with Thursday night football tonight. So a lot to get to. We'll also get to some baseball at some point with these wild card races really coming down to the wire. But like I said, Bryant and Brett with you in our Family Leisure studios. Brett, how you doing this afternoon?
I'm doing great on this September 21st and getting ready for the weekend, getting ready to be here through 6 o'clock. And then at 7 o'clock, I'm getting ready to listen to NFL right here on Sports 56 and 98.5. Will be a interesting matchup. Yeah. Not many people giving the Giants a chance tonight against the 49ers. 49ers just looked great in week one. Won in week two, didn't look as good. Brock Purdy's never suffered a loss as a starting NFL quarterback. Can that continue tonight? So I'm looking forward to that. And also in college, the undefeated Georgia State Panthers, lucky to escape opening night over Rhode Island. But they are undefeated. Sure should have. And tonight they play Coastal Carolina. We'll watch that and all the baseball. And next week, Ryder Cup. And I was telling you before we came on, I think, and you have on just one of the great jersey sweaters out there in sports. You have on a Chicago that is vintage replica, isn't it?
No, this is still their current one. This is the number one pick in this past year's draft, Connor Bedard. It's his jersey, so I just got it.
Way cool.
Yeah, very cool.
Way cool.
So, one of my buddies got it
old
for
number
me,
98, huh?
Yeah, 98. That's been his number all through junior hockey, so I guess he stuck with it once he got to the pros.
That logo is great. Boy, Dave Woloshin would love seeing you in that. And I think hockey preseason starts Saturday.
Yeah, it starts Saturday. So there's one game tomorrow night. They're in Australia for like their global, whatever outreach program, whatever. So they're in Australia. There's one game tomorrow night, and if puck drops at like 11 o'clock p.m. our time, and then Saturday there's a handful of games. Sunday's really when most of the teams start. So yeah, preseason hockey starts this weekend, and before we know it, second week of October, I believe is opening day.
Well, you're going to have to remind me on when we have to do our hockey picks. I know eagerly awaited by our listening audience every year for us to do our hockey picks. You know, in my hockey picks, it's a little bit like baseball. Spoiler alert here. I'm going to try it one more time with my Maple Leafs.
Good luck.
Leafs or Leaves? I'm sorry.
Leafs.
Just Leaf? Okay, just like singular Leaf?
No, Leafs.
Or
I think it's plural, but I think it's Leafs, not Leaves. I think it's Leafs.
But okay.
The Canadians are a tad strange. So.
What a zany bunch they are, aren't they? In the whole spelling of Canadians, the French spelling.
Canadians, yes.
But yes, and all right, that'll do it for the hockey talk.
That's hockey for the day. Yes.
We allocated 45 seconds to it. I think we went over.
Well, no, Brett. I really think we hit it right on point. I think we got 45 seconds. I think we hit the mark. And now on something else. But that's all I had for the day. I wore my hockey sweater. That's pretty much all I brought to the table today. So unfortunately,
thanks for listening, everyone.
Yeah, unfortunately, Brett, you're gonna have to carry it the rest of the day.
So you had 3 minutes. It was just hockey talk. With all you're gonna give me today.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm in a fantasy hockey league now. So I'm a puck guy, Brett. So
you are.
I am.
They have those.
They do. Yes, and I'm in one. So that's all I'm bringing to the
what
table
are
today,
the draft parties like at that?
Good question. I guess I'll find out this weekend.
Fantasy hockey, I swear it's never entered my – well, of course they should be doing it, but it's just never entered my mind that was
Sure is.
Please report back to me that. But it just feels like the gloves could come off at that. I've seen the gloves come off at a fantasy football draft.
I believe it.
I watched the gloves dropped one night at that.
I don't doubt it.
Oh, my. But I do love the sweater.
It's good looking.
And we're going to have big time today. Grizzlies play a preseason game at FedEx Forum 2 weeks from Sunday.
That's crazy. That's insane. I mean, I know, this part of the year.
Why did I ask that question mark for him? I know that's right. Sunday, October 8th. 2 weeks. 2 weeks ago, I was
crazy.
in New Orleans at this very time. That was like 82 seconds ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, we've kind of gotten to the point of the year where we've just kind of snowballed. I mean, through summer and everything, you're kind of pushing that ball
confluence.
up, and now we've reached the top of the hill, and we're pushing it down. And it's about, I mean, college football, NFL, if you're into hockey about to start, basketball about to start. I mean, before we know it, everything's going to be going on at the same time. Baseball playoffs about to start, so we're about to get to the really busy part of the year.
I know. I say this every year. I know most prefer, if you had to pick out a sports month, it's March for the madness. It's a tournament. I love it. I love that. I'm not making my case for mine and denigrating anybody else. I love it. But October's mine. And it always has been, because for a lot of the 70s, you got that game of the week, maybe Monday Night Baseball, and then that was it. We had to wait till October to get Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, to get a rat-a-tat-tat of games. And so I'm really looking forward to October. I love the playoffs, and the college football's building, to peak time, about the halfway point. NFL, Grizzlies get started. Memphis Madness. You got the basketball magazine. We'll be going over a lot of basketball and a lot of picks with that. And I said yesterday, I think that Tiger basketball schedule. I love the cool kids that say it these days. Will drop.
Yeah, that's right. It's going to drop. That's right. You nailed it, Brett.
Nothing's ever released anymore.
Dropped. That's right.
It's got to be dropped.
That's right.
And so I'm ready for Tiger basketball schedule. Ready for it all, and we love it all. I have my preferences. I have my favorites, but I love talking it all.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, how could you not? I mean, especially the area we're in, where it really seems like, this is, we talked yesterday in our 5:30 segment about kind of different cities and what kind of sports town are they, and I think we agreed Memphis probably college football, but really when you look around Memphis, I mean, a lot of college football, but also a basketball city. I mean, they very deep roots for basketball. A lot of baseball fans in this city, being between Atlanta and St. Louis. And so, I think here locally, I mean, you get a good mix of everything. And so, it just makes me excited for kind of this time where we're about to start kind of really the month of October, where it's all kind of getting started at the same time.
You can be everything. My favorite ice cream, you would never guess in a million years. It's the ice cream. It's Neapolitan. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Oh, you think it's gross, so all of them combined?
I'm not. Well, I just don't like strawberries, so I'm not, I'll eat the chocolate and vanilla, but, I mean, maybe I will now. As a kid, I didn't like the strawberry. I love strawberries and strawberry-flavored things. I just didn't like the strawberry-flavored ice cream.
So, Brian, needless to say, and I was like this until my 20s, could you put a slice of, say, coconut pie on a plate that maybe you just finished spaghetti on?
No.
You still can't?
No.
I couldn't until
maybe I can now. I have no idea.
If it touched it, I wouldn't eat it.
I used to be like that as a kid.
I was that finicky.
But I used to be like that real bad as a kid. I'm better at that now.
I'm saying into my 20s. I mean, like if the dessert got near a green bean.
Yeah.
No. I mean, couldn't do it.
I was like that. I was like that with like regular food. Like if I had like corn and mashed potatoes on my plate, like I did not want those touching. I wanted them very, very separate.
And now everywhere you go, I mean, if you got one green bean, they want you to get a new plate now.
Like buffets and stuff.
And I will tell wait staff, no, I can just use this plate. Let's don't wear the dishwasher out.
Oh, but they want you to get a new plate every time. That's
they sure do.
Yeah.
And so I guess that would describe my sports fandom. I'm kind of Neapolitan. I can go
I like it.
The vanilla, the chocolate, and the strawberry.
I like it. I like a little bit of everything. But as we mentioned at the beginning of the show, it's Thursday, so we have football back. I mean, finally have football games back after kind of a few days off. Thursday Night Football, you mentioned Giants and 49ers. Also a college football game tonight between Georgia State and Coastal Carolina. But we do have a lot of NFL news coming out, and the one I've been so excited to talk about because it was my can't remember if it was my top. I think it was my top story yesterday, talking about Justin Fields and what he said in a press conference yesterday, basically blaming the coaching staff for.
He walked it way back.
Brett called them back, called the media back, and almost blamed the media for the quote and everything. And called him back and said, I'm just trying to be transparent with y'all, and I'm trying to give y'all. I'm trying to go deep and give y'all substance and quotes so that y'all can write. I love the job y'all do. Y'all work so hard, but then y'all take my words and put them out there and make headlines. Like,
and Lincoln Riley's going to bar y'all from USC practices.
Oh, man, already. I mean, it was when he was at Oklahoma that the student had to climb onto the roof of the building, right?
Once again, when you read what Justin Fields said, it was radioactive.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So, man,
but when you heard it,
you just don't go.
It wasn't
when
as bad.
You heard it, he couldn't have said it more benignly.
Right.
Softly, kind of in the big scheme of things. There's a lot going on, and they want him to be more pocket presence, but that was the takeaway. And then the walk back, especially the video of it, he was really direct and said, I'm a team guy, and there's never been, whether it was at Georgia or at Ohio State, anything around him being and the screaming headline, he's not a finger pointer,
right?
And there's never been any history of that. It is too rich though. Some of the NFL media now saying, I knew it would be a disaster in Chicago.
Oh yeah.
That's awfully handy.
Sure is. I mean, that was a team that a lot of people were building up before the season, and especially Justin Fields.
For the big step up.
Oh yeah, big step up, and so yeah, the fact, but really, I mean, that organization does have a lot of problems. Obviously, Justin Fields walked back those statements yesterday, but still, a lot of eyes on him. And then I saw a video, and again, maybe people reading too much into it, but after the game on Sunday, obviously all the players, meeting in the center, shaking hands, everything. And Buccaneers linebacker Devin White, was talking to DJ Moore and everything. And he said, man, they're not using you right here. And DJ Moore's response was, tell me about it. So,
wow.
I mean, we've seen DJ Moore. There's videos of him kind of standing wide open, calling for it, and then right when it's thrown the opposite direction, he kind of throws his hands in the air or his shoulders kind of drop. And so
that's every receiver.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But it does not look like DJ Moore is happy, and this is a guy that just got to Chicago. And then, obviously, the headlines last night, defensive coordinator Adam Williams resigned yesterday evening from the team. So now they're looking for a new defensive coordinator. So a team that I think a lot of people had high hopes for and thought could make that next step up, especially offensively, seems like a lot of trouble in Chicago right now.
And when we talk about, the Cubs broke that long stretch of futility in Chicago. 1985 is a long time ago.
A long time.
Yes, it was that dominant. That defense, it was as special as you'll ever see. But it was really all that just for that 1 year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, it was good even a year or two before that and a year or two after. But then the NFC was so tough, and you knew whoever kind of made it out of that, out of that would win the Super Bowl. That was Giants, 49ers, kind of into the Cowboys. That was really strong NFC years. You had Buddy Ryan and the Eagles. Well, that was after because he was with the Bears. But that was strong NFC years. But 1985's moved way on.
Yeah, it's not yesterday. That's a long time ago.
Again, almost anything, if it's 19 in front of it, is now a long time ago.
That's a good point.
It just is.
No, you're absolutely right about that. And so for
Tennessee's national championship, Arkansas's basketball national championship, that's just a long time ago now.
Yeah, well, and I mean, I think it's starting to kind of make that transition, it seems like, because some of these, like you said, Tennessee's national championship, I mean, in the 90s, so it doesn't seem like that long ago. But then when you realize we're in 2023 right now, then you're like, wow, that's a really long time ago. So, I feel like we're in that transition point where it's starting to become, that was a really long time ago, when it feels like a lot of people are like, oh, that was just yesterday.
here's somebody else that encountered that. Now they've quieted all the critics on it. Georgia and Herschel winning in the 1980 had gotten too old to talk about.
Yeah, it became.
But now they got plenty to talk about.
Yeah, now they've completely flipped that script, and maybe a three-peat in their future. But definitely a lot of NFL news as we get ready for another week of NFL football. But let me set up today's show before we get to top and not top story of the day. At 3:30, Bill Bender from the Sporting News will join us to talk college football, as we've been talking all week of how excited we are for this weekend in college football. So we'll get his thoughts on some of the things that happened last weekend, but also this slate of games that we have coming up on Saturday. 3:45, we'll get into some baseball talk. 4 o'clock, Keith Smith from Spa Track and the Front Office Show will join us to talk some NBA. 4:30, we'll get into a little bit of a preview for tonight's game between the Giants and the 49ers, the Thursday night football game on Prime Video. 4:45, we'll get to big number of the day. 5 o'clock, Greg Gaston will join us to talk Tigers. 5:30, we'll get to what's trending. And at 5:45, we'll wrap up today's show like we always do with Taco Bell Crunch Time. Let me remind you, we're sitting in the Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. The world's biggest spa sale, it's back and bigger than ever. 50 different models to choose from, 5 different manufacturers, up to 30% off in-stock spas and swim spas. Free upgrades on all in-stock spas, and the 24-month same-as-cash. It's still available, but only at Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40.
He is Brian. I am Brett. We are Sportstime. We're with you until 6 o'clock. We want you to be a part of it at 901-360-8255. As Bryant said, we're in our Family Leisure Studios, and we appreciate them so very, very much. Thank you so much, Billy. But this hour of our show, another one of our great sponsors, is brought to you every day by Lexus of Memphis, the one and only Lexus dealership in town at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Great offers on all 2023 models, with the 2024 starting to arrive, and always special leasing options. Call them at 901-334-9673. Drive in luxury and confidence, knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by today at Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of the all-new 2023 flagship LS500, and you'll be looking and you'll be driving in style. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design, and they make for the luxury driving experience. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Well, my top story of the day is it's Thursday, so that means football is back. Thursday night football tonight. The Giants are on the road at the 49ers. It's a big spread. Earlier today, I heard people talking about it at 10, maybe 10.5. Now it's up to 9. 11, I should say. 11-point favorite.
John Harden said he would take them minus 21.
He said he would take them as 21-point favorites, which is crazy to think about.
It's good enough
in
for
the
John.
NFL.
It's good enough for me. That's what I'll tell you.
I guess that's a good point, but it seems like a lot of people like the 49ers tonight. And how could you not? I mean, after what they've done in those first 2 games, completely dominated in their first game of the season. Last week, it was a little closer, but they should have covered the spread. They took it all the way down to the end and kicked a field goal to cover against the 49ers. So they really should be 2-0 with 2 games covered, and now a Thursday night football game against a Giants team that really hasn't looked great. We remember what happened to them against the Dallas Cowboys in Week 1, a 40-point loss, 40-0, just didn't show up in that game. And then last week against the Arizona Cardinals, a team that has basically said, we're tanking this year. We do not want to win games. We want that number 1 pick so we can get Caleb Williams. Well, they were up. The Arizona Cardinals were up at halftime and was dominating that game at halftime. It took a second-half comeback from the Giants to win that game, and so now you've got a meeting between a team that really seems to be at the top of the National Football League and a team that is really struggling out the gates. Now, no Saquon Barkley tonight for the Giants, so it's going to be interesting to see how this one shapes up, but a big spread tonight for Thursday Night Football.
And look at all these injuries. Stingley out for the Texans. Diggs out for the Cowboys. Yeah. Cowboys defensive back Diggs out, and Bryce Young scratched for Sunday. And that's before they practice tomorrow. So a lot of people already out. My top story, the National College Football schedule that everybody's so excited for on Saturday. This is a menu. This is a buffet. You can get a clean plate. You can go back for more all day if you like. Saturday at 11 with Michigan in basically New York City, New Jersey versus Rutgers. 2 3-0 teams. In the South at 11, FSU at Clemson. Then in the Midwest, you got OU at Cincinnati. Out West at 2:30, Coach Sanders, Coach Prime, and that great story at Oregon. 2:30, you also have UCLA at Utah. Then at 2:30 in the heart of Dixie, Ole Miss and Alabama. Saturday night, 2 3-0 teams in Pullman, out into Palouse. Oregon State and Washington State, they haven't quit playing football. 6:30, the last Baylor Texas regular season game in Waco for a while. The big one Saturday night, Ohio State at Notre Dame. Also Iowa at Penn State. Late night on the West Coast, you've got games until bedtime. Sea to shining sea, 14 hours of football, and the national sport that college football is.
Oh, hold on. Here we go.
Not top story of the day.
Oh, man. Button pressing is difficult this afternoon. My not top story of the day, you mentioned it just a second ago, and it completely breaks my heart. Trevon Diggs, the cornerback for the Dallas Cowboys, it's feared that he has torn his ACL, and obviously that means he'd be out for the season, and that's a
contact,
huge,
non-contact. What's the reports?
I haven't seen all of the reports. Everything I'm seeing just says that it happened at practice today. Here we go. Ian Rappaport reporting, feared to have torn his ACL in a non-contact one-on-one drill at practice today.
Damn.
The Cowboys are looking at potentially losing one of their top defenders, and he's absolutely right. I mean, this defense has been so good through 2 games, and he's been a big reason why. I know there's been a lot of criticism about it's either kind of feast or famine with him, especially in his breakout season a couple years ago. It'd either be an interception or he would give up about a 40-yard reception. But, who cares? I mean, he's been a great cornerback for this team. He's been a guy that they've really relied on to cover opposing team star receivers, and so without him in the fold, that's going to hurt. But I thought the Cowboys did a really nice job, especially in that secondary, bringing in guys in free agency to kind of add some depth there and to add some more star power. So I think they'll be fine. But man, I feel like I can't even get my words out. I'm so heartbroken seeing all of these headlines right now.
Parade route's not being altered, is it?
Well, maybe we just might not go down an extra street, but nothing too drastic.
And once again, it proves that every cent they get, it's worth it, because you don't know. I mean, I don't think this is career threatening, but it's certainly marring a great career, and it's why that every penny they can get, I'm all for it. My not top story, locally, great national schedule, but also a really good one locally this weekend. Can Ole Miss and Lane Kiffin slay the wounded Tide? UT versus UTSA. That's a lot of letters, isn't it? In a rebound game for Tennessee. Arkansas season really teetering on the edge in Baton Rouge. That's not a place, if you're teetering, you want to go to. In Mississippi State at South Carolina. And the Memphis Tigers in downtown St. Louis against the Missouri Tigers. So many preseason thoughts and wins and loss totals will really be altered out of this weekend. A lot of things that we were just so certain about, me included, me at the top of the list, really changes after this weekend because somebody's going to win and somebody's going to lose, and it's going to shake things up. And for a lot of people, the season could potentially be much worse than they ever dreamed it could be after the 4th playing Saturday.
It's crazy. It's insane. It's been a really good year
just
already.
4.
It's been an amazing season already, and you're right.
Just imagine Alabama with 2 losses.
You had to go there, Brett.
What if Clemson has 2?
It's another good point. And
we'll be digging around to see last time Clemson and Bama had 2 losses in September.
Yeah.
I think it was 03. Might have been 07.
Either way,
it goes back. It goes back a ways.
Two of the dynasties.
If Clemson wins, well, FSU's good.
Yep.
But maybe the ACC is better than the SEC. After this weekend, people could be thinking the SEC may be the 5th best league in the country.
Wow. So
Fifth.
a lot of storylines going into Saturday.
Bad grammar alert. 5th best league? That don't mean more.
It sure don't. It doesn't mean more at all.
Real bad grammar alert.
Real bad. Well, I'll do it for top and not top story of the day. Let's go ahead and get to our first break of the day. When we come back, we'll talk college football with Bill Bender.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Jenkins Floors and More in Hernando is growing. This family business started up 5 years ago with just one pallet, and now they have hundreds. Tim, the owner, gets calls from people everywhere and can sometimes save them up to 50% on wood flooring, carpet, tile, and vinyl. Jenkins Floors and More helps with renovations, home building, and installation. Jenkins Floors and More, number 6 East Commerce Street in Hernando. Also in Little Rock and coming soon to Tennessee. Call 662-469-9350 for more information.
Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company, we have it all. From handmade Amish leather belts, fine and casual clothing, boots, casual boots, work boots, fancy boots, and even safety-toed boots. Lots of cowboy hats to choose from, even Nebo lights, good-looking duck head dress shirts, duck head caps, shorts, and pants. Tons of jeans from Ariat, Wrangler, Devil Dog, and Kimes Ranch jeans. At Hewlett & Dunn, we have a great selection of Old South t-shirts and caps. Fine clothing from dress to casual to Sunday best. Enjoy choosing from UFO's orthopedic-approved shoes. Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company. Boots of every size, every color, every skin. Great quality Western, work, and safety toe boots. Hewlett & Dunn Boots and Clothing Company. 111 North Center Street, Collierville. Hewlett & Dunn. Hewlett & Dunn, serving you and your family since 1961.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus of Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
Did you know nearly 40% of men under 40 and over 75% of men over the age of 40 experience sexual performance concerns? At the Memphis Men's Clinic, their experienced physician performs a comprehensive evaluation that determines which specific issues may interfere with your sexual performance. These issues can vary and range from anxiety to medical issues, low testosterone, or erectile dysfunction. The Memphis Men's Clinic has evaluated hundreds of men of all ages over the years and reestablished a normal sexual life. The Memphis Men's Clinic will work aggressively to resolve issues and allow you to restore your sexual health and overall well-being. That's the Memphis way. If you're 20 years old or 90 years old, come and get cared for the Memphis way. Treatment that's based on your specific needs after a professional clinical evaluation by their experienced board-certified physician. Call the Memphis Men's Clinic today at 901-443-0475 or visit memphismensclinic.com.
Pizza lovers and sports fanatics, Ferraro's Pizzeria is your Sunday ticket headquarters. Catch every pro game on multiple big screen TVs while enjoying $2 beers, $9 beer buckets, and mouth-watering pizza. We're talking the cheesiest, most delicious New York pizzas in town with all your favorite toppings. What are you waiting for? Grab your family and friends and get to Ferraro's, corner of Jackson and Main, just east of the Pyramid. Enjoy every pro game at Ferraro's Pizzeria and Cheesy Corner, your game day destination.
I'm with John Burgos from the world-famous Rendezvous in the Alley since 1948.
Brett, we have catered parties all over this country and all over the world, from Singapore, Australia to Central Park in New York, but many people don't realize how much we do locally. For holiday events, office parties, tailgating, birthday parties, you can't do better than the Rendezvous. For example, you can get a cheese and sausage tray for 15 to 300 people for $3.75 a person. You can even build your own nacho bar for $10.50 per person. All you need is a minimum of 15 people. In many cases, we can arrange delivery and full-service catering. We've even made it easy to get to-go items. You can just park at our front door in the alley, put on your flashes, and we'll get you going ASAP. For all your catering items and prices, go to hogsfly.com, click on menu, and drop down to catering.
Thank you, John. The Rendezvous, Mr. Charlie Burgos' Rendezvous in the Alley since 1948 and celebrating its 75th year.
I know the sweetest thing in Memphis, and I know it's been around for 120 years. You know, I'm talking about Dinstall's, and it's time to stock up heavy on Cashew Crunch, Heavenly Crunch, Turtlettes, all of your favorite Dinstall's treats to watch the playoff games and to watch all the basketball. It's so easy to get. The sweetest thing in Memphis, all you have to do is head to Laurelwood or head to Germantown and Poplar right across from the hospital. Or go where they make the candies. That's on Pleasant View. There's nothing that says Memphis better than Cashew Crunch with that little tinge of coconut. Or the Turtlettes. Let's face it, there's nothing better than Dinstall's chocolate. That's the mainstay of all candies, isn't it? Milk, chocolate, although their dark chocolate is pretty darn good. And if you get the peppermint with the dark chocolate and put it in the freezer, you're going to love it. So many ways to love Dinstall's. 115 years of making Memphis oh so sweet.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
Joining Bryant, Brett, and Jay Morgan now on Sports Time is Bill Bender, national college football writer for the Sporting News, and on Twitter X at Bill Bender. Here's Bill with Bryant, Brett, and Jay Morgan.
Bill Bender joining us to talk college football like he does every week at this time. Bill, thanks so much for joining us, and we've got a great slate of games this Saturday, but I do want to go back and talk about some of the games from last week, and I want to start off with that Florida State game, a scare for the Seminoles, a 2-point win over Boston College. Do you make much of that? Did that outcome worry you much? I know a lot of people are pointing to a couple of injuries for Florida State in that game on Saturday, but what'd you make of that game for Florida State?
I didn't take as much away from it. I mean, anytime Florida State, or even I remember Miami used to go up there and struggle. It's a weird game, weather factor, red bandana game. Boston College played inspired. They didn't get Keon Coleman involved. So I look at it this way. They survived the game and probably peeking ahead a little bit. And, on the other side, Clemson, this is their kind of not last stand, but last stand for this season if they want to be serious about being a playoff team. So I think they're going to bring their best game as well.
Bill, last week was scary Saturday. This week can be described as separation Saturday. Please tell me you're going to be in South Bend for Notre Dame and Ohio State.
I am. I'm
yes. Oh, good. Good.
I'm excited, and they're not going to let a Catholic kid from Central Ohio miss that one. So
that would violate like 12 canons of church code, wouldn't it?
Right. And my wife works for the Catholic Church as well. So we're excited. I'm somebody that grew up in a family that had, Michigan fans, Ohio State fans, Notre Dame fans. These two don't play enough. And that's the reality. Like, we can dance around it all we want, but it's a shame that we don't get to see these. This is only the sixth time I've seen these two teams play, and I was fortunate enough to go last year as well. Different kind of ball game this year with Sam Hartman, though.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Sam Hartman has been unbelievable. But how do you think that game plays out? Do you think Notre Dame has the edge going in there?
I still think it's on them to take it from Ohio State. A couple of things from last year's game that you wonder if it's going to change. One would be Sam Hartman.
Yeah.
Can they throw the ball down the field? And can they run the ball? They didn't run the ball against Ohio State last year. And, they could run it right into the teeth of an experienced defense with Tommy Eichenberg and Steele Chambers. The other side, there's some pressure on Kyle McCord, no doubt. He didn't look good in his first road start. And, it doesn't get any bigger than Notre Dame. So I just couldn't be more. That's one that of all these games this September, I've kind of had circled, super excited about it.
Bill, have you been to a game in South Bend before?
Yeah, it's been a while, though. I haven't been since – I've been to a spring game since they've renovated it, and I was there this summer. My son had a lacrosse tournament in the next town over, so we toured the lacrosse facility. It was a blast. It is a special campus. Anytime you walk around that, you got to see Touchdown Jesus. You got to do all those things in that stadium. It really is amazing.
Will you go to the Grotto?
I did this summer. Yeah, I'll definitely.
Oh, good.
It was funny. We went. The church it was a Friday in the summer when we went this summer, and wedding at 3:00 on a Friday, and then there was a wedding behind it, so we didn't get to go in the church. But like I said, for a guy like me that went to Catholic school and
Heck yeah.
heard all the legends, watched Rudy. I mean, it's special stuff, and especially with Ohio State coming there. I mean, I've heard stories for years about the 95 and 96 games, and to get to kind of relive those the last 2 years has been truly remarkable.
I would imagine, Bill, you were humming, you knew the Notre Dame fight song before you knew Jingle Bells.
Well, you know what? It's funny. My grade school and high school, we were our mascot was the Fighting Irish. So, we came out to that fight song, and when you grow up here, there's a little angst between public and private schools here as far as high school football goes, but that's wrapped in. It doesn't translate as much now though, because I've been telling people, Marcus Freeman was a public school kid in Ohio. He's coaching Notre Dame, and Ryan Day's coaching Ohio State, and his son's a quarterback for a Catholic school. So times have changed in 25 years.
They sure have. Bill Bender from the Sporting News with us, national college football writer for the Sporting News. So how is Notre Dame so settled at quarterback and offensive coordinator while their quarterback from the bowl game and their offensive coordinator from last year are so unsettled at Alabama?
Yeah, that was probably, I know we were talking about some storylines from last week. Brett stunning watching Alabama just go around on offense against South Florida.
Yeah.
Not good quarterback play from either one of them. I think they did the best percentage bet was to turn back to Jalen, who can make a few plays and go from there. But, yeah, that was but I can't help wonder. I mean, Lane's poking the bear a few too many times. I was telling somebody earlier today, I have a buddy like that we've been best friends since, first grade. But when he gets on my nerves, I just want to, go right at him. And I feel like Nick Saban will never show that, and it won't affect his coaching. But it's not going to make a difference if they don't have the right quarterback making plays in there.
Yeah, you're right about that. And on the other side, Ole Miss coming in 3-0 and it has looked good. So, I mean, do you expect this to be an extremely close game? Or like you said, do you think they could be poking the bear a little much and this could be a bounce-back game for Alabama where they kind of run away with this one?
Well, if Lane doesn't get away from himself.
Right.
And last time he went to Bryant Denny, remember, he said, get your popcorn ready, went for it on fourth down 6 times, didn't work out, kind of backfired. And it's always just stay within yourself. And I think Nick Saban will always do that no matter – maybe he didn't last week. I mean, maybe that's why we were so stunned.
Yeah. Yeah, you might be right. I'm really excited about that one. That should be a fun game. But the entire country last weekend all stayed up and watched that Colorado State game. The ratings came back and were, just unbelievable to see how many people stayed up to watch that game. But this week now Colorado gets into Pac-12 play, facing Oregon on the road. How much tougher is it going to get now for Colorado? And it feels like before the season, everybody was doubting Colorado. Do you think they could surprise people in Pac-12 play, even down a couple men?
Yeah, I mean, I do. I think this week's not going to be easy. Never easy going to Austin to begin with, and now you're doing it without Travis Hunter. And, this defense still allows 5 yards per carry. Oregon has 3 running backs averaging close to 7 yards a carry. It's not going to be – if they win this week, I mean, I don't even know what the bandwagon will look like when they go to USC.
Yeah.
So, no, but I think fine. What I'm kind of looking for in this game, and I'm not saying, I picked Oregon to win, but, I mean, is it a 4-quarter game or does Oregon blow them away in the first half? Shedeur Sanders has been fabulous, though. I think he's the guy holding this whole thing together.
Oh, yeah.
And the absence of the great two-way player, but it is compelling. I mean, to see what they're doing. And, Bill, can you imagine the gravitational pull come portal time to Colorado?
I mean, yeah, it's just about keeping that momentum into next year, honestly. I mean, they're still undefeated, so they're still in the hunt in the Pac-12, and in the Pac-12 it requires elite quarterback play. I mean, you look at these quarterbacks' numbers, I mean, as good as Sanders has been, he's still behind Caleb Williams and Michael Penix. I mean, these guys are playing flawless at the most important position. So, it's going to be a lot of fun to watch and see.
Bill, when you talk about the quarterback play in the Pac-12, it seems like a lot of those guys are in conversation for Heisman. I know it's very early, but right now through 4 weeks, who's your Heisman favorite right now?
probably still Caleb. I mean, until somebody takes it from
been
him.
Unreal.
He's been flawless now. The competition amps up for them. I mean, they're going to play 6th-ranked teams in the last 9 weeks, so including a game at Notre Dame here in a few weeks. So, I mean, Shedor's there. Quinn Ewers has made a statement. Sam Hartman's in the mix. Michael Penix probably got the best numbers of all of them. So it is definitely, Pac-12 definitely has a chance to win that thing.
Bill, I'm not advocating that I would do this. I just think somebody needs maybe to suggest it, though, with what Lincoln Riley did this week to the media at USC. Okay, you're going to do us like this across Heisman Trophy voters. We don't vote for Caleb Williams. What if somebody did that?
Well, I think that would be stooping to the level. I get what you're saying. It's unbelievable, and definitely we're supporting the Southern California News Group. We're supporting Luke Evans and his story. He did his job. He was observing what goes on. That's what we all do. When I go down on a field with 5 minutes left, you observe what's going on because you don't get that kind of access. And of course it's going to work its way into your story. So, yeah, I mean, I'm definitely standing with the journalist on that one. And I wouldn't affect my Heisman vote because but Brett, your point is taken. I'm not saying you're wrong, but it's just not something I wouldn't hold it against the kid for what the adults are doing. Believe me, I deal with that in youth sports quite a bit.
Yeah, I bet you deal with it a lot. Bill, when you look at this Iowa team, I mean, it looks like a completely different Iowa team than we've been used to the past couple of seasons, especially offensively. Put up a ton of points last week against Western Michigan, I guess it was. Now they play Penn State. How much noise do you think this Iowa team can make in the Big Ten this year?
We're going to find out Saturday night in a whiteout, and Kirk talked about that this week. They've been in a whiteout. They were there in 2009. He was just talking about how powerful that can be, especially when they fell down 10 points real quick. Now, they came back and won that game, but, the whiteout definitely is something to watch. So I think they have a chance in that game, but this Penn State team's starting to feel a little different. They've got some edge on defense. They've got a strong running game. They've got the right quarterback. And when Penn State typically comes around every 10 years, they got all those things. They're pretty good. They got a really good chance to win the Big Ten.
Yeah. Bill, last thing for you. I think a lot of people were surprised a little bit last week when Tennessee went down to the Swamp and lost to Florida. Not just a loss because the Swamp is a very tough place to play, but just the way that game played out and how dominant Florida was from start to finish. But what do you make of this Tennessee team now through 3 games? They'll face UTSA this weekend, but after kind of an offseason of so much talk about this offense, it really seems like they haven't stepped up to the plate.
No, it was.
Yeah, that was bad.
So, yeah, exactly. I mean, just start to finish, an ugly performance. And, we talked about that last week. I thought they may go with that running game, be able to go into the Swamp and finally win one. But these are 20-year-old kids, 18 to 22-year-old kids. Some of the streets are psychological. They always mess with me. So can't imagine what they do with kids. So, it was a good win for Florida, though. And the more I think about it, it probably shows us how good Utah is. Because if Utah was able to do that to Florida and so on, that's a fun game with UCLA and Utah this weekend as well. That's going to be a good one.
Yeah, it should be a fun one. It really should be a fun weekend all around. But, Bill, thanks so much for joining us, and we'll do this again next week.
Hey, no problem. Thanks for having me on, guys. You enjoy every second of it. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Bill. Bill Bender from the Sporting News joining us to talk college football like he does every single week. And I think he's absolutely right. This Iowa-Penn State game might be getting a little overshadowed because of some of those other games happening in that 6 to 7 o'clock window. But that should be a really, really fun game, especially after what Iowa's shown over these first 3 weeks of the season.
Just a great day that a lot's going to get sorted out.
It sure is, and it's going to be fun to watch.
In the best way, on the field, in the best way.
Absolutely. So I'm really excited about it. I was wishing, I thought yesterday that today was Friday, and so when I found out today's only Thursday, I was a little disappointed because I just want Saturday to get here. Because of all this college football we're gonna have some great matchups from the start of the day at 11 a.m. Up until the end of the night. But let's get to a break, and when we come back, we'll talk some baseball.
Start your day with Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Your equipment search ends here. Now that's a bold statement. But at Purple Wave Auction, it's true. See for yourself at purplewave.com. Purple Wave is your online marketplace for ag and construction equipment, utility vehicles, trucks and trailers, and yes, even a classic car or two. Bidding is straightforward and simple. No reserves, no minimum bids. Ready to get started? Head to purplewave.com. Purple Wave Auction. Straight, simple, sold.
Step up your wings game at East Coast Wings and Grill. With 60 wing flavors and 7 heat indexes, do you have what it takes to turn the heat on your wings up to insanity? East Coast Wings and Grill is family friendly with a large variety menu to satisfy the whole bunch. Sign up today for their loyalty program and taste the rewards. For every $1 you spend, you collect a point. Earn 100 points and receive a $5 reward. Next to Lowe's off Highway 64 in Bartlett, come try America's best wings at East Coast Wings and Grill.
If you need glass replaced, there's only one name you need to know. Binswanger Glass, the largest full-service glass company in the U.S. They've been an industry leader for over 145 years. For all your residential, commercial, or auto glass needs, Binswanger Glass is the name you need to know. 24-hour emergency service for all commercial customers, plus a nationwide warranty on all professionally installed glass. Visit Binswanger Glass in Midtown at 340 South Hollywood across from the Liberty Bowl. Visit binswingerglass.com. Binswanger Glass.
Kevin Kukler here from Westwood One. Coming up on Thursday Night Football, Hall of Famer Tony Baselli and I will be on hand for NFC action between the Giants and the 49ers. Christian McCaffrey and San Francisco hope to move to 3-0 in their home opener, while Daniel Jones and the 1-1 Giants look to build on a come-from-behind win last week. Join us for all the action on Thursday Night Football.
Right here on Sports 56.
Snap into action this NFL season with FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. Right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets, guaranteed, when you place a $5 bet. That's $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get in on the action. The app is so easy to use. There's a wide range of betting options, spreads, player props, over-unders, and more. Hey, in New York, right now I'm looking at all of the unders for Jets offensive numbers. Passing yards, touchdowns, receiving yards. I'm looking at all of the unders in New York. So visit FanDuel.com/win and kick off the NFL season. That's FanDuel.com/win, FanDuel.com/win. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL.
21 plus and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager, only $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call TN Redline 1-800-889-9789.
It's time to go where the season takes you, and it's the season for savings at Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike. Go for miles more with 43 MPG Highway in your 2024 Mitsubishi Mirage. $17,815 or $229 a month. 2024 Eclipse Cross eludes sleek and sporty style at $29,695 or $399 a month. Discover the new 2024 Mitsubishi Outlander SUV with third row and 7-passenger seating. Now $29,885 or $449 a month. And they're all equipped with Mitsubishi's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. We're ready to put you in a new ride today at Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, or 24/7 at MemphisMitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 84 months, Mirage RH 00782, MSRP 18315, Eclipse RZ 001693, MSRP 30,445, Outlander RZ 005762, MSRP 31,385. Includes all rebates and incentives, PF 695, excludes tax title and licensee. Dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett sitting in our Family Leisure studios, and Brett mentioned it earlier. The Cardinals, they just seem to find new ways to disappoint you every time you watch them. 6-0 loss to the Brewers earlier today.
Make it stop.
I mean,
make it stop.
Well, Brett, the good news is we're getting down to about 10 games left in the season. So
get to game 162.
Yeah,
no, that was actually off there that I mentioned earlier. I didn't talk about it on there.
Did you
yesterday. No, that was me and you private.
Oh, I could have sworn you did.
That's all right. That's all right.
But
I'll say the same thing I said in private.
Either way,
I think Jordan Walker will be good in time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where he's ever going to play defensively. And if he is the top prospect in the organization, then that's not very good because I think he's just pretty good.
Yeah. No, I mean, he hasn't shown a ton this year, but also, I mean, where are you going to play him?
Rookie.
I mean, he's rookie,
21.
but he's not an outfielder. Mm-hmm. And right now, because of who you have at third and first base, you can't put him at third. You can't
he's
put
not
him
a third
at
or first baseman.
No, and so
I mean, you go 22 next year at 22, and you're just all DH.
Yeah,
you got to have a little more bang than that.
I agree. So it's. It's just one of those situations, I guess. But, like we said, this season will be done soon enough. The only other game earlier today was Angels-Rays. The Rays win a close one, 5-4 over the Angels. But not a ton of action today, kind of moving day on a Thursday as it usually is. Only a handful of games later tonight, but a lot of them that really impact the postseason. One you mentioned yesterday while we were getting out of here, Blue Jays Yankees. I mean that's one to really keep an eye on, and I thought the Blue Jays have done a good job so far in this series. But tonight going up against Garrett Cole, he's going to bring it for the Yankees, despite how bad the Yankees have been late this season. But that could definitely be one to watch. The Cubs kind of still trying to make their push. They play later tonight against the Pirates, so that's definitely another one. And then Giants-Dodgers. Giants still trying to make it push, so that's another one to keep an eye on. And really the big boys that are kind of all in there in this wild card race, they'll be back in action tomorrow night, but should still be some things to keep an eye on tonight in baseball.
Kyle Hendricks on the mound tonight for the Cubs, and after tonight, it gets really the competition goes up for the Cubs. That's the end of them seeing the Pirates the rest of the way. I think they only face who?
The Cubs?
Braves and Brewers.
Wow. Yeah, that's it's not a fun end to your season. Those are two pretty good teams.
Three this weekend against Colorado, and then Braves and Brewers.
Ah, I see. So okay, have fun against the Rockies.
Better feast on the Rockies, and they almost must win tonight.
Yes.
Against the Buccos, 71-81 Pirates. They're not going to finish 500, but nobody expected to. Also, late tonight, starting a 4-game series, Giants and Dodgers. Mm-hmm. Surely. Please, Major League Baseball, Dodgers, Giants officials, everybody, LAPD, everybody, especially after the incident in Boston at the football game. We've had too many incidents through the years between Giants and Dodgers fans.
Yep.
Security, I don't want to hear any of this on Monday of, we just didn't see this coming.
Right.
Prepare for it. I mean, zero tolerance.
Yeah, I think you have to, especially like you said, kind of the tragedy that
they
we
got
had at the oh, absolutely. But you mentioned the tragedy that happened at the Patriots game this weekend, and we talked about it yesterday. I mean, I probably saw 5 or 6 different games in just the NFL over the weekend that there were massive fights that had multiple people recording. It's just gotten out of hand.
Is there a site dedicated at the app formerly known as the Twitter to fisticuffs in the stands, like empty seats galore? Is there anything out there, or you just got to find it random?
Brett, I'm sure there is. If there is, I haven't noticed it, but I'm not one that really looks at a lot of the profile names and pictures when I'm just kind of scrolling through and seeing these videos. But I almost guarantee there is, because, I mean, it happens so often. And unfortunately, those are videos that people enjoy watching and will get clicks and plays and shares and all of that good stuff. And so I'm sure there's a page out there that, keeps their eyes out for those videos and reposts them or whatever they may be, have people send them to them and they post them. But you're right. It's getting out of hand.
Everything is captured by a camera now. Everything. Every walk of life. I mean, you're being you're being watched.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Everywhere. I mean, yeah, I love paying attention at, concerts or games and stuff, just all the phones that are out recording different things. My favorite picture, I mentioned this when it happened, and then when maybe, called back to it a couple months ago, but when LeBron James last year set the points record, and there's a picture of every single person behind the basket with their phone out recording that moment, except for Phil Knight, who was sitting on the baseline with LeBron's two sons, I should say. Phil Knight just sitting there, just taking it all in, watching it. A guy that has made Nike a ton of money is getting the points record, and he was just sitting there taking it all in.
It's almost like we really don't go to watch it ourselves. We go to have our phone out, and okay, fine. And in the press box, I'm not kidding you, every laptop is open to the X. Mm-hmm. I don't know how people are watching the game for scrolling through the X and is there an X deck like TweetDeck? I mean it's all every sports person in the press box is doing. I don't even know.
It looks like it looks like TweetDeck is not still a thing. That's too bad.
Oh.
Wow.
Well, it is.
Because I haven't gotten on that in a while, and so I just tried to click on it because I have it as a favorite tab, and it's not still a thing, so RIP
no
TweetDeck.
tweet from me since April 21, and it never will be again.
Yeah, but no, you're right. It's and then nowadays you get in trouble if you don't take pictures and videos from other people that you're with.
I know it's part of people's jobs.
No. I mean, if you're just going as a fan, if you're just going to a concert or a game, nowadays your friends, your mom, your girlfriend, whoever you're with will be like, "Oh, did you take pictures at the game?" No, I didn't take pictures. Did you take pictures at the concert? No, I was watching them.
No, I went to the game.
Yeah, I was taking it all in. And they're like, well, why didn't you take ppictures? You should have taken pictures. You're going to want to remember that. And so it's
I know it's people's jobs, but just to constantly have the X open,
yes.
I can't multitask like that. Many people, I can't.
Yeah, it's challenging for sure, but that'll do it for our first hour. Let's go ahead and get to a break. When we come back, we'll talk some NBA with Keith Smith.
Chris Price here with Metro Builders. Is your roof leaking? Do you have mold stains on the ceiling of your home or business? Is your carrier denying your claim or offering a repair because they just don't have enough documentation? You need a contractor that performs work for insurance carriers each and every day, and Metro Builders is here to assist. This is why you call Metro Builders. At Metro Builders, we provide free estimates and consultation and love to assist homeowners with their claims. Metro Builders' process of arriving, inspecting, and diagnosing problems is second to none. Our team of Hague-certified technicians are standing by to assist you with providing estimates and photos to your carrier to document your loss. And the best part of all you owe is what your policy states. No large fees on top of the final scope. We use high-grade materials and are certified by companies like Atlas, CertainTeed, Owens Corning, and even Mulehide. We offer best-in-class warranties on all of our jobs, up to 50 years. When it comes to roofs and restoration, call Metro Builders to schedule your free inspection. Call me. 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717.
My friends at Miramichi are always innovative. They've got a new thing going I think you're going to like. They have a staggered rate pertaining to what time of day it is. You can get a better price if you go in the later afternoon than you will in the morning or in the afternoon. From noon to 3, there is a $10 savings. There's about a $13 savings from 3 until close. You can't beat all of the innovations or the beauty at Miramichi. And folks are flocking. No longer can you get a membership. There's a waiting list, but that's how popular Miramichi has become. And why wouldn't it? You've got different levels of competition. You have 5 different tee boxes you can choose from ultra hard to ultra fun. The thing that's a constant is the beauty. The back 9 is like taking a walk through the woods with a meandering stream, and there's a waterfall you'll love. Everything about Miramichi is cool. Go check it out in Woodstock, 12 minutes north of downtown. It's Miramichi.
Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company, we have it all. From handmade Amish leather belts, fine and casual clothing, boots, casual boots, work boots, fancy boots, and even safety-toed boots. Lots of cowboy hats to choose from, even Nebo Lights, good-looking duck head dress shirts, duck head caps, shorts, and pants. Tons of jeans from Ariat, Wrangler, Devil Dog, and Kimes Ranch jeans. At Hewlett & Dunn, we have a great selection of Old South t-shirts and caps, fine clothing from dress to casual to Sunday best. Enjoy choosing from UFO's orthopedic-approved shoes. Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company. Boots of every size, every color, every skin. Great quality Western, work, and safety toe boots. Hewlett & Dunn Boots and Clothing Company. 111 North Center Street, Collierville. Hewlett & Dunn. Hewlett & Dunn, serving you and your family since 1961.
Hi, this is Lauren Choate with Choate's Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing. Choate's is offering some amazing specials for this month only. If you're considering upgrading your furnace before the cold weather comes, Choate's is offering $1,000 off a new Carrier furnace. If you don't need a new furnace, Choate's is now offering its early bird $60 furnace tune-up. This 22-point tune-up includes a free carbon monoxide test and heat exchanger inspection. And Choate's is your indoor air quality expert. For the best quality air for you and your family, it's recommended to have your air ducts cleaned every 8 years. This month only, Choate's will install a free UV light system when you get your air ducts cleaned, a $500 value. Call us at 347-8086 to take advantage of these amazing deals. So, turn to the experts with Choate's, and remember, let our family serve your family.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
Time to talk NBA with Keith Smith from Spot Rack and the Front Office Show, and on Twitter X at Keith Smith NBA. Here's Keith Smith talking basketball with Bryant, Brett, and Jay Morgan.
Well, welcome back into Sports Time. Keith Smith joining us to talk some NBA from Spot Track and the Front Office Show. Keith, thanks so much for joining us. And me and Brett kind of started the show talking about how close we are to the start of all these other sports. Talked about hockey starting here in a couple weeks, NBA preseason starting in just a couple of weeks. So it's really right around the corner. But for you, when you're watching these preseason games, maybe this season, some specific things you're going to be keeping an eye on in preseason, but just in general, what are you really looking at when you're watching these preseason games?
Yeah, preseason can be, you don't want to draw too much from what you see in preseason because not all the teams are playing all their main guys. But I look for, what are some of the lineup combinations that we think we could see if the main guys are out there. And then beyond that, I'm looking for the new guys, the rookies, and what do they look like, the new players to the league, and how are they adjusting? Because this is their first kind of more real minutes. A lot of them would have played in summer league, and I've at this point seen everything they did from there. But these are more real minutes against actual NBA players, so I like to take a look at that in depth.
And that first preseason game is going to be in Abu Dhabi. Am I correct in that?
Correct, yeah. By the time we talk in 2 weeks, it'll already be done. It'll be over. It's at noon Eastern in Abu Dhabi. The Mavericks and the Timberwolves, and they get their preseason camp open here in less than a week because they get to open up a few days earlier than everybody else because they are headed overseas.
Wow, that's gonna be fun. I'm ready for some basketball for sure. I did see some headlines earlier today that the Pacers are now looking to trade Buddy Hield, and a guy that's kind of bounced around a couple of places. But for a guy like Buddy Hield, where do you think a potential landing spot could be for him?
Yeah, he's a guy who can fit anywhere because of his shooting ability and his durability. He doesn't miss games. He's basically played almost every game since he's come into the league. He just has not missed time, and he's one of the absolute best shooters and best volume shooters that we have in the league. This is a guy who shoots, up over 40% but takes, 8, 9, 10 3-pointers a game. So if you're looking for shooting, he's your guy. Now the question is going to be, can he play in the playoffs? Is he going to be able to be on the floor in the postseason when it matters? But for a lot of teams, they may feel, all right, we've got enough defense that we can cover for him, or they may look at it and say, you know what, we'll worry about that when we get there. We're going to snap him up and get some regular season. Now, I know that's not really answering your question, but that's just because I think he's going to have a really wide market, and it's going to depend on, hey, who wants to get in there on this guy.
Yeah.
Keith, what are you? I know you are the win totals around the league. Has something grabbed you for a win total, maybe too low or too high, or some value in any of those for you?
Yeah, I purposely have not looked at them yet. We're
Okay.
going to be doing some stuff on that, so I've tried to stay away because I don't want to go in with my impression colored.
Jaundice.
But, yeah, that said, listening to a lot of podcasts and reading some stuff, I think that there are a couple teams that I think maybe getting a little bit undervalued around the league to some extent, because I think what some folks they might be a little too low on a couple of these teams, and the teams that I'm mostly looking at with that is I feel like people might be a bit low on the Cavs. I think they're going to be really, really strong, especially in the regular season in the East. I think the Magic are going to be a much improved team in the East. I think in the West, it's just so hard to climb the ladder because there's so many good teams. By the time we get this all ready to go, I think, I feel pretty confident saying Portland, Houston, and San Antonio aren't going to be in the play-in mix, but I think everybody else will probably be there. But, I think people might be a little low on Minnesota. I think they may have a big jump coming, but I don't know exactly where their numbers are at and if they change. But just hearing the discourse around things, those are the teams that jump out to me.
And the Grizzlies will be in the middle of those parlor games on win-loss total with the very much the wild card of Ja's absence for that first 25, that very tough West. One of the fun things to chart will be what will it take to stay out of the 7-8 range, to stay out of the play-in, to be firmly ensconced in the playoffs in that 6 range. That could swing wide, and like you said, the competition's so tough in the West, that could go down as low as 43 and maybe as high as 49 just to be in the 6th spot.
Yeah, it could be. It's very funny. I think, we're starting to see, and some of this is the devaluing of the regular season that many of the teams have done, and we'll see if the new resting policies and the in-season tournament, if that, kind of juices any of these regular season win totals for teams. But what we've seen is everybody's kind of come more back to the pack. We're not seeing, teams win 64 games anymore and those kind of things. Those days seem like they're at least gone for now. For teams that crack 60 wins, that's an incredible regular season. Last year we only had 6 total teams win over 50 games. The Grizzlies were one of them. But that line that you talked about in the West, it was 44 games. The Golden State Warriors were the 6th seed going into the playoffs, and that got them the assured playoff spot with the 44 wins. And in the East, it was 45 wins. So you're probably in that right range, somewhere in the low to mid, maybe the high 40s if some teams bottom out the other way. That's about where it's going to be. And for Memphis, you're going a third of the season without one of your main engines. So they're going to have to really see how that looks. And, one of the things we'll be looking at in the preseason, kind of the first question y'all asked me was Marcus Smart. What does it look like with him kind of leading the Grizzlies offense here as you kind of get the season, up and running? What is that going to look like?
Keith, correct me if I'm wrong before I answer this question. When you were talking about teams that you don't think make the playoffs this year, you mentioned Portland in there, right?
Yeah, I did, yep.
Is that more of your thought of the Dame Lillard situation and where he's playing by the end of the season, or is that more just the roster construction right now?
A little bit of both. I don't think he's going to be on the Blazers, and I don't think he'll be on the Blazers very long if he is at all. I do think he will get traded. I still believe, it's going to happen here in the next week and a half or so before camps open up, just because I think, nobody wants to start that way, right, with that kind of looming over you. And if you're Chauncey Billups saying, all right, well, I guess I got to build a whole game plan now that revolves around having Damian Lillard and all that stuff. But even if he's there, I don't see how that team's going to be very good this year. And that's okay. They're heading in a different direction. They're starting their rebuild. Their success levels are going to be, how does Scoot Henderson look? How does Shaedon Sharpe look? How is these guys that are signed for more than the next couple of years. How are they starting to come together? What does that look like, for us in the future? But I just can't see them being a very good team.
No, I don't see it either. And that big trade on season's eve, we get those. I remember, the blockbuster with James Harden being dealt from Oklahoma City. I like that October trade, and you can tell at the various media days kind of how much they make that player that may be dealt, how available they make him, because they don't want to make him the centerpiece at that, and they know he's going to be gone in 2 weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. And then also, it just becomes they're going to put a whole bunch of stuff out there, whether it's Portland or Philadelphia. We'll see if Milwaukee even does it with Giannis and some of his public comments recently of, hey, we're not going to do questions about, X, Y, and Z with these guys or about these guys when you talk to, the other players, the coach, or the front office. But the reality is everyone's going to say, okay, cool, and then they're going to ask them anyway. Because that's what our jobs are, is to try to get, some of these answers. So, we're going to be, out there kind of asking some of these questions. We'll see, how it all comes together. But I think, there's a couple media days that are going to be a little bit more must-watch than, most of it is. Because most of it is, 15 pounds of muscle, worked on my jump shot all summer, best shape of my life kind of stuff, and all those things. Everybody's, goal is to, get in the playoffs and win a title. And that part's fun too, because it's, it's optimism. That's how it should be at the start of the season. But there's a few where we're going to be, waiting to see, all right, what did the player themselves say or not say, and what did the others around that player say and not say?
I think New Orleans is a place that some serious questions need to be asked at the first media availabilities.
Yeah, I think so. I think you're going to get a little bit more of a rosy outlook from them about, Zion. We're already starting to hear. David Griffin did an interview just the other day where he said Zion actually spent the entire offseason in New Orleans for the first time. He was in the gym every day. And, and of course, again, you're getting he looks really good. He looks like he's
I
ready
would weigh
to go.
400 if I spent the whole offseason in New Orleans, Keith.
I hear you. Yeah, I try to zip through there, in and out as quick as I can when I'm there, just for that reason. But it's yeah. So we're gonna find out. What does it look like? And for some of these players too, these are gonna be the first time some of the media has seen them, and in many cases, months, because they don't really always do media availability when they are injured. And you're just kind of getting whatever information the team releases. So, there'll definitely be some eyes on that one, too. And then, of course, in San Antonio with Victor Wembanyama and all that, where we're going to see, a lot of, people interested in, all right, well, what does that look like first time around? But I can tell you it's the San Antonio Spurs. You're going to get a whole bunch of nothing out of them because they handle it about as good as anybody does from not giving away a lot.
They're better than Langley, Virginia at CIA headquarters, Keith. And at some point this year, Pop will have that moment where he's just had enough and go, will you please quit wanting me to compare him to Tim Duncan?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that'll probably happen before October is out. I would be surprised.
Bet early on that.
Yeah, and it's funny, I notice he gets, he's pretty patient. When they're headed east, because I think he knows, hey, this is the one chance this media market's going to get to talk to me about guys and those kind of things. But yeah, he'll lose patience with that very, very quickly.
Oh yeah.
So you're saying when he heads east, he puts his good manners on, and we get him in the west, we get the real Pop that you got to have on shin guards?
I think so. I think when he knows, hey, I'm going to see you a handful of times, throughout the course of the year, you're going to get, what you get. But when he comes in one time, I think he knows, all right, hey, first time, only time through Orlando, there's going to be a whole bunch of Victor Wembanyama questions because that's just kind of how it goes. But he's generally been, pretty generous with his time here. The one thing that upsets him here in the local market, and it's now kind of died down and nobody really brings it up anymore, is, hey, what happened? Did you think you were going to lose Tim Duncan to Orlando? Way back when, now it's, going to be, we're coming up on, 25 years ago when that was happening. And, and he doesn't really handle those questions all that well because he's got some real thoughts about the way that was reported on. Let's just leave it at that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, we're talking to Keith Smith from Spot Track and the Front Office Show on the NBA. And I saw the reports earlier this week that the Warriors are meeting with Dwight Howard in Dwight Howard's attempt to get back into the NBA. I don't know. I mean, how much is there anything to this of Dwight Howard at age 37 maybe getting back into the NBA, and for the Warriors who are clearly looking for some front court pieces, some front court depth? Who are some guys that you think they could go after before the season starts?
Yeah, it's funny. I tweeted when that kind of came out that there was a point in time where the idea of, Dwight Howard on the Warriors would have been terrifying.
Oh, yeah.
And it would have been like, God, how are you going to handle this? But now it's just fine if you want to bring him in and put him at the end of your bench. It's fine. It's not going to move the needle one way or another. I have doubts he'd play, very meaningful minutes with that team. That's just not what they want in their bigs, and they've got one who, quite frankly, now at this point in their careers does it far better than Dwight Howard does in Kevon Looney already. Yeah. So, it'd be one of those ones where, hey, if you want to have them in there and everybody's, good with it and you feel good about having them around, that's fine, which is, even that in itself is kind of a remarkable turn for, where Dwight Howard was for large chunks of his career with being a locker room guy. It wasn't always, that well thought of. So, yeah, I don't know what to, make of that beyond fine. It's, end of bench signing, much like JaVale McGee catching on with the Sacramento Kings. These guys, one of the things I'm very famous for saying is eventually these guys become more name than game, and that's kind of where we're at with Dwight Howard.
J.J. Redick caused a stir here locally today with some comments made on Old Man in 3, his podcast, and they were talking about teams and team movement and maybe future expansion. And I think he and his cohorts on that show, and I'm not sure who else is on that show. Bryant, help me if you know. Oh, Evan Turner was one that said that you got to get Memphis, you got to get the Grizzlies out of Memphis. I mean, Keith, we've kind of had this not a lot in the off season. Grizzlies aren't going anywhere. The league very much wants them to work here, and you have been steadfast. The movement of a team's not going to happen. They want those expansion dollars.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm not going to say never with teams moving, because every time I feel like that, then you start hearing about something goes sideways, whether it be with an arena or something like that. But for the most part, the league is Adam Silver has been staunch in saying we want 30 healthy franchises in the cities they're in. And then he said, only then will we consider expansion. And I think they're, if they're not there, they're well on their way there. Now, we got some local TV stuff to figure out, and that's going to take on a whole new life of its own with whatever new media rights look like and all those kind of things with, across the league with, some of the TV partners having some of their own troubles. But I don't, get the sense that there's a whole heck of a lot, that would get the Grizzlies out of Memphis outside of, all right, we absolutely have to have a new arena, and it's not happening, and no possible way does it come. But, and even then, I think, you're talking, decade or more of, that sure. down the line. But they are, they want to add 2 new teams. And it sounds like if anything's going to happen with the Grizzlies, expansion-wise, it'll be a move to the Eastern Conference if that's the way this goes down, because I think one of the things they're looking at is kind of them or Minnesota make the most sense to move east just based on, who they're closest to and all those sorts
Geography.
of things. And it sounds, yeah, exactly. And it sounds like they're going to add, at a minimum, Seattle is going to get a team. That's the worst kept secret out there. They're going to have a team. It would be a shocker if they didn't. Then it sounds like there's a good chance Las Vegas is going to be that second market. And I can tell you, when you have a lot of rich people building an arena already in Las Vegas, they're not doing it for nothing. I think they've got a pretty good idea, where things are headed with that.
Yeah, and Evan Turner even, really put us in it, put it into us pretty deep when he said take it out of Memphis and put them in Nashville. That just really makes everybody bristle. And our good buddy Andre Iguodala said Vancouver. Yeah, you know Andre Iguodala. He's always going to defend Memphis.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, absolutely. having covered Evan Turner, for his time with the Celtics, he likes to have some fun and put some digs out there once in a while. So
he knew the magic button to punch.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he was having himself a boring week here and said, let me liven things up a little bit, here towards the end of the week with that. But yeah, it's one of those things where anybody I've talked to, it's not just the Grizzlies. It's every team. Nobody is suggesting that anybody gets moved. And if anything, the folks within the league kind of get a little more aggravated when they suggest, Memphis, New Orleans is another one that's very popular that they talk about. They got to get moved all the time. We hear it here in Orlando every once in a while. None of these teams are going anywhere. The NBA is very happy with the teams where they have them. They're also very happy, being in some of these markets where, they're either one or maybe one or two of, the kind of big four sports teams in town. That's a big thing for them too, because then they feel like, hey, we kind of own that, professional sports, corner in that market.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I don't think they're moving these teams, but I'm kind of ready for some expansion talk. I would love to see a team in Seattle, in Las Vegas, or at least an announcement of those two. But Keith, thanks so much for joining us, and we'll do it again next week.
Absolutely, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Keith.
Thank you, Keith. Thank you so much. Keith Smith with us every week for Spot Track in the front office show. And when I saw that today, I didn't laugh. I just thought, please stop. Just
Yeah.
don't do this. And Evan Turner saying Nashville. I mean, that hits, that hits right to the pressure points. And Andre Iguodala weighing in with Vancouver. I want to remind Andre Iguodala, they came here from Vancouver, and someone else suggested, I think J.J. Redick suggested Kansas City. You know who one of the biggest groups that would oppose NBA in Kansas City?
Chiefs.
The Chiefs.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
They know they got it to themselves.
Uh-huh.
And then that whole thread opened up. I don't know why I went down. What did I do that for? I had too much to do. Too many other things to think about. I mean, I saw Mexico City. I saw Louisville. I saw St. Louis. I saw Cincinnati.
Blue.
I thought, hey, but let's go back to the Fort Wayne Pistons. Why don't we?
I mean,
it was everything, but the Tri-Cities suggested.
That's great. I love that. That's hilarious. But
I mean, it was everything but Little Rock suggested.
Great. Oh, let's throw that out there. Move them to Little Rock. Let's get it over there in Arkansas. But no,
I mean, Jackson, Mississippi, I thought was going to show up on that thread.
Yeah, South Haven. I mean, you named a couple of G League spots. Why not South
Jackson,
Haven?
Tennessee.
Let's
really go
another
crazy.
Good one. I do hate that Evan Turner said it because I always liked Evan Turner as a player. I thought he was a great player. But man, I do hate hearing that doesn't sit well. Man, I didn't know about it until you just brought it up. That was new to me, so I'm just now reacting to it.
And if you read the replies, please don't.
It's
a waste of brain matter.
Yeah,
it really is. I can tell you something about the Grizzlies. The official jeweler of the Memphis Grizzlies, that's Sissy's Log Cabin. They're with us. They're with the Grizzlies. They're with the Tigers. They're around town, and the new location opening soon at 4542 Poplar. Bill Jones and his great team, they're here to stay. Some blow in overnight and then gone. Not Sissy's Log Cabin. Supporter of Tiger Athletics and sponsor of our look back at the weekend in the SEC that you'll hear coming up next Monday at 4:30. I think we're going to have Lamar McCubbin from their promotional and marketing staff with us on Tuesday to tell us more about Sissy's Log Cabin and how much they love being the official jeweler of the Grizzlies and part of the town fabric in supporting the Tigers. Mid-South's largest selection of one-of-a-kind jewelry, engagement rings, wedding bands, rings, necklaces, and so much more, earrings for that special occasion in your life. We're getting into the fall of the year to start thinking about things around Christmas time for that. Not too soon for Valentine's. 9,000 square foot store in Laurelwood with expanded lines for Rolex, Cartier, diamonds, and more. Since 1970, with 6 locations across Arkansas and Tennessee, Sissy's offers a selection of diamonds, estate jewelry, and fine gifts. Official jeweler for the Memphis Grizzlies and FedEx Forum with the floor seat lounge. Unsurpassed value, exceptional service, expansive selection, and an extraordinary experience you're guaranteed because life's too short for ordinary jewelry.
Let's go ahead and get to a break, because when we come back, we've got to start previewing tonight's Thursday night football game between the Giants and the 49ers. We'll do that next on Sports Time.
Be sure to follow us at Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows, stay up to date with station events, and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports56 WHBQ.
Jenkins Floors and More in Hernando is growing. This family business started up 5 years ago with just one pallet, and now they have hundreds. Tim, the owner, gets calls from people everywhere and can sometimes save them up to 50% on wood flooring, carpet, tile, and vinyl. Jenkins Floors and More helps with renovations, home building, and installation. Jenkins Floors and More, number 6 East Commerce Street in Hernando. Also in Little Rock and coming soon to Tennessee. Call 662-469-9350 for more information.
Ready for a new ride? We got it covered at Gossett Kia on the Pike. 41 MPG Highway, we got it with 2023 Kia Forte LXS. $229 a month, $29.99 to its signing. Get some EV action in 2023 Nero EV Wind SUV. 253 miles of EPA estimated range, $269 a month, $49.99 to its signing. Plus, check out 2023 Kia EV6 Wind. Get up to 134 city, 101 highway MPGE, $399 a month, $49.99 to its signing. And Gossett will include a free charger with your EV purchase, all 36-month leases, plus Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Ask for Bobby J. He's ready to put you in a new Kia today. Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike, or online, KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 36 months, 650 acquisition fee, Forte LSX, PE 678605, MSRP 21610, Nero P507859, MSRP 41090, EV6 P5610964, MSRP 49687, includes all rebates and incentives, must finance through Hyundai, excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 10/2/2023 with approved credit, dealer stock only.
We interrupt this broadcast for special news and information concerning family leisure.
The world's biggest spa sale is back and bigger than ever at Family Leisure. How is that possible? Well, let me tell you. You start off with 50 different spa models to choose from 5 different manufacturers. Then you throw in up to 30% off in-stock spas and swim spas. But is that all? Oh, no. You get free upgrades on all in-stock spas, plus 24 months, same as cash. Wow! This is the kind of sale that you just can't have every day. But it's happening right now at Family Leisure, the world's biggest spa sale. Soak in the savings right now at Family Leisure, Witten Road and I-40. You know the place where family and fun come together.
Please remain calm and walk. Don't run to Family Leisure. And now back to your regular programming. For over 8 decades, America's farmers have counted on the Little Red Tractor from Case IH, the Farmall, to help them make short work of their demanding chores. Well, Mid-South Ag can show you they aren't just for farms anymore. With horsepower ranging from 30 to 105, plus an army of attachments, they can tackle every chore on your to-do list, from hauling and mowing to loading and towing and then some. Stop by Mid-South Ag Equipment or call 662-890-3141 to find a Case IH Farmall that's right for you.
Simple, smooth, and every sip as easy as the last. Tito's handmade vodka tastes just as good with tap water as it does with your favorite mixer. Back in the day, Tito distilled, hand-bottled, taste-tested, sent to a few friends, then taste-tested again to give you the finest juice around. No frills, no flavors, no fancy labels, just the good stuff. Just Tito's. For recipes, videos, and more, visit Tito'sVodka.com. Distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas, 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof, crafted to be savored responsibly.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you from our Family Leisure studios. And we got to start previewing the Thursday night football game tonight between the Giants and 49ers. It's on Prime Video But that's all right if you don't have Prime Video, because you can listen to that game right here on Sports 56, coverage starting at 7 o'clock right after Reb Talk. So if you're an Ole Miss fan, a perfect night for you. You get to listen to the rest of us for the next 2 hours, and then, or I guess hour and a half at this point. Time's flying by, Brett. But you can listen to the rest of the show. You got Reb Talk right after. You can hear head coach Lane Kiffin talk about the upcoming game against Alabama, and then roll right into Thursday Night Football. But while I'm telling you about that, you can listen to that game tonight. Let me tell you about our weekend here on Sports 56. We'll have you covered with a ton of games. Saturday, we've got that Ole Miss-Alabama game coverage beginning at 12:30, and then on Sunday, a full day of NFL football. Saints-Packers at noon, Bears-Chiefs at 3 p.m., and then Steelers-Raiders at 7 p.m. Then Monday night, we've also got you covered with the Rams at the Bengals. So you can catch all of your NFL and Ole Miss Rebels this weekend right here on Sports 56. But Brett, tonight, an interesting game. I think there's storylines on both sides to keep an eye on. But when you look at that spread, about 11 and a half now, it's a big number.
For week 3 in the NFL, this is big. You know, this isn't Georgia against UAB. Sorry, UAB fans. I mean, it's not. But what it does set up for the 49ers, win this game somehow, some way, just by one, win this game, then you have the break until the following Sunday after week 3, and then back-to-back games at home against Arizona, probably a gimme W, and set up the big one against the Cowboys. This schedule, and it's why I think tonight the 49ers go out there and blast the Giants, and then get to essentially an open date, some real break time before an easier opponent at home against the Cardinals. Before the big one against the Cowboys.
Yeah, and with these injuries coming down with the Cowboys now, it makes me nervous about that game. But, you mentioned it. I mean, this looks like a college spread. I mean, you go down a college slate on a Saturday, and there are a ton of double-digit favorites, sometimes double-digit favorites in conference games, but you rarely see double-digit lines in the NFL. And so for this one to be such a wide margin is really incredible to see. Now, obviously, with Saquon Barkley out tonight, that's a big part of it. And with what the Giants have shown these first 2 weeks, that's a big part of it. But man, Brett, that is a massive number, and I just hope it's closer for sitting down watching this game later tonight. I hope it's closer than a 12-13, as John Harden would put it. He'd take it at 21 points. So hopefully it's a little closer than a 3-touchdown game that John Harden's predicting.
John's a bold man.
John's a very bold man. Very.
I like the pick, though. I'm with him. I think they put it to the Giants. 3 double-digit favorites this weekend. That one tonight, the Niners at home. The Cowboys on the road Sunday, 12.5 over Arizona. I wonder if the Diggs news may dip that down to single digits. Maybe. And then Sunday afternoon, Kansas City and the quarterback matchup we thought would be great in the preseason of Fields versus Mahomes. Yeah. Well, it's not so great. Kansas City 13 at home.
Yeah, I mean,
the Bears get paid too.
They sure do. I mean,
not even NIL. They get like a real automatic deposit from an NFL team.
So do the Cardinals and the Giants, Brett. I mean, all these guys get paid, and it's wild to see these double digit, especially like you said, 3 games on an NFL Sunday with a double-digit spread. But looking at tonight's game, I'm curious, what have you thought about Daniel Jones through 2 games? Passing the ball, he's 425 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions through him this year. I know, really, Daniel Jones
the old Danny Dimes.
But Daniel Jones is really one of those quarterbacks that you either love him or you hate him. There's not much in between when you're asking people what they think about Daniel Jones.
Brian, I'm sorry, I'm neither of those. I just think he's as milk toast as you can get.
Yeah.
It doesn't drive me to either one of those. I didn't think playoff Danny Dimes was. I didn't think that was real last year. I think prior to last year is the more real is the real Daniel Jones. Now Brian Daboll is great with offenses and great with quarterbacks, but I think work cut out for you, and his cast around him. I don't think does he have a great wide receiver? He's got a great running back, but he's out tonight.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. But it's just, when I look at Daniel Jones, because I'm kind of like you as well, like I don't really care one way or the other about Daniel Jones. I don't hate him, but I don't really love him. But it really seems like there's a lot of people that really love Daniel Jones. Are like, man, this is a great
Isn't
quarterback.
that New York, though?
That's now that's a great point. That is a fantastic point.
Don't they kind of if Daniel Jones was playing in, I'm trying to get a place just right, Charlotte.
Yeah.
And that would be back home for him. I don't think it would create anything close. Zach Wilson's getting the bad end of that too.
Sure is. He should, but that's a really good point that you make, because that is New York media. There's just so many media members there in New York, and they're all going to build their teams up or tear them down. Yeah, it's one way or the other for sure. So that's a really good point.
And the talk shows are running hot over the Yankees and the Mets.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's always easy to make the Knicks into a pinata, for some reason, and the Nets as well. And now the Jet season, it's over. It's turned into a nightmare. So when they get around to it, and it's the lamest, but it's the easiest radio to do, and that's just rip everything that moves.
Oh yeah. And so but for the Jets, I am curious to see what they do at quarterback. Do they go out and try to make a trade and bring in another quarterback, or free agency and try to bring in another quarterback? Because it just doesn't seem like it's working right now. I don't think anybody thought it would really work after the Aaron Rodgers injury. It's just sad to see. Speaking of injuries, Brandon Ayuk, it looks like he's going to be out tonight for the 49ers. He's listed as questionable, but Adam Schefter reported close to an hour ago that he's listed as questionable, but he is not expected to play tonight against the Giants. So that's one weapon.
Now, did Adam Schefter examine him? We may need Dr. Schefter to examine him.
Good question, because he did make it very clear for Aaron Rodgers.
I did not.
He did not.
I did not personally examine him.
Yes, that is a good point.
Wouldn't know the X-ray if it was an arm or a leg, would he?
No. He would not. So, but that is one weapon for the 49ers that looks like will be out tonight. But when you look at that 49ers team, they have weapons all over the place, and so for most teams, a guy like Brandon Ayuk being out really hurts them, but not for not for the 49ers, it seems.
That game will be played because local kickoff of 5:15.
Yeah.
That game, the sun will be shining at halftime.
That's a good point. That's a very good point. I didn't even think about that.
I loved it out, Brian. I loved it out there at Super Bowl 50, the Broncos and the Panthers, because that Super Bowl, Super Bowl always kicks around 5:32 or whatever they have it timed out to. So locally, that was 3:30. And a lot of that game, and that for me was evocative of Super Bowls in my childhood. That it started and finished in bright sunshine.
Wow, I love watching those type of games though. Late at night, it's like 8, 9 o'clock, and you're watching one of these late games, and it's still sun shining. It's just getting ready to set. So I love games like that. That just made me excited when you brought up that point. But I really don't know where I sit on this game tonight. Harden says
you don't.
I don't. I really don't.
Off there, pre-show, you were struggling with this one.
I don't. Because Harden's sitting over here saying, "I'll take him at 21 points." You're
show me your notepad. I know you've got it figured out.
Notepad. It's somewhere over there.
You've got to have more than parade routes in it.
Oh, I have a lot of things in there, but I don't have an answer for this game because I just don't know. Because for me, when you look at this Giants team,
we got to have the action.
There'll be action somewhere. That's why we love player props, Brett. And there's one man that I love listening to in his player props, and he'll be joining us tomorrow at 3:30. He has great player props for the NFL.
He sure does. Darren Waller, his availability tonight, will he be in there at tight end for the Giants?
I believe I saw earlier he'll be good to go. So I think
they
got
to get him going. All 6'8" of him.
Yeah, that's a guy they brought in before the season started, and everybody thought, this is going to be a guy that just adds.
It'd be a big help.
Be huge for this offense. And you're right, they haven't gotten him going, but maybe this is a good opportunity with Saquon out, really utilize Waller. I think Jalen Hyatt's going to get a lot of looks tonight. He's been a guy that they've tried to get involved early this season. So
9 catches for Waller. I didn't realize it was that much. I just looked it up. I didn't realize he had that in the 2 games. I didn't know it was that good.
Yeah, I think had a lot late in that game last week against Arizona. But I mean, really, Brett, it's hard to notice who's having a good season and who's not through 2 games with this Giants team because it's just exactly. I mean, you 40-0 in your first game, and then you need the comeback of a lifetime in your second game to beat the Arizona Cardinals. It's been very disappointing of a team that last year, after what they did last year, I thought that was a real building season and that they were going to come into this year and be a better team and make some noise in this division, and they just haven't through 2 games.
But I don't want to hear New York and Boston, we never win anything. No, just don't even start there.
No, I mean, that's what it is. I mean, New York, they're number 1, and so they, when something good or bad's happening to a New York sports team, you're going to hear about it. They're the first ones you hear about.
The only NFL undefeated versus undefeated, the unlikely undefeated Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and we have the not doubleheader. We have 2 games again because one starts at 6:15, one starts at 7:15. Nobody had on the third Monday night or the third game of the year on Monday Night Football undefeated Eagles against undefeated Bucs. Maybe had the Eagles, but nobody had the Bucs.
Is Baker back?
I need a little more.
I need more than 2 games.
And back from what?
Mediocrity?
There were good Baker moments in Cleveland.
Yes,
he won a playoff game, didn't he?
I think so, but it was since he's gotten to the league, it's been pretty mediocre.
It has been, and he catches it, and it didn't work out like they wanted it to, but remember what he walked into in Cleveland.
That's true. Well,
they made progress under him.
Tell me who has found success in Cleveland, because everyone thought it was going to be Deshaun Watson now, and it hadn't gone well. And I know
Bernie Kosar.
Yeah, I mean, now we're going way. Yeah, we're going way back in time. But I feel like I'm saying a lot of things that make it sound like we're in week 14. I get it. We're only in week 3. But, we
want to be guarded.
Yes, but, I just, it's hard to succeed as a quarterback in Cleveland. And so, and now I'm seeing this headline from a Bucks blog. Baker Mayfield praised for no, quote, lollygagging. I love that. That's a great headline right there.
That's a good one.
No lollygagging.
I had a coach. It was a big lollygagging around.
Oh, no, you don't want any lollygagging. Look alive. That's great. So, no, that should be fun. You're right. Nobody had the Eagles and the Bucks being undefeated.
He did win a playoff game.
He did. Okay.
I got it now. He did 1-1 in playoffs.
Wow.
With Cleveland in 2020.
Another.
That's almost a statue.
Sure is.
What the Browns have been through.
And
at quarterback.
Yeah, that's a good point. Another game with records that I don't think many people assumed before the season. Who would have assumed that Bills versus Commanders would be a 2-0 team versus a 1-1 team, and the undefeated team would be the Commanders?
Good point. And Ron Rivera, I think, and now especially with the 2-0 start, but he doesn't need to finish 6-11.
No,
that new ownership group may decide, fresh start time.
You're right. And so I think with let's see what the Commanders' schedule looks like coming up. But with kind of the success early and the excitement around with that new ownership group and with these first 2 wins, next couple weeks is tough for them though. Bills at home,
real tough.
At the Eagles, Bears. You never know what they show. At the Falcons, at the Giants.
Usually
versus the
not
Eagles.
much.
Usually not much. So I mean that really is tough with a handful of road games in there. So you're right though. I mean, if you finish with only 6 wins or 5 wins, 7 wins after a 2-0 start with kind of all the energy they seem to be generating up there, it could be the end before they know it. So I don't know. I'm excited though for tonight.
All these preseason wins and losses and win totals, it's all extremely hard to do. Nobody remembers when you get it right. Everybody remembers, and I have been reminded by every Tennessee person on the X machine at my replies about my Tennessee pick in the college football playoff. But it really is. Even after the season started, if you just tried to pick wins and losses for the next 3 weeks in the NFL, how wrong you would be.
Oh, man.
Just the next 3. And we're not going to do it because it would take forever.
Maybe
Nobody
just
be interested
this
in us rolling
weekend.
on.
I mean, it's incredible.
This weekend, with all these roadies winning this year,
yeah.
What 19 and 13 road teams are so far this year?
Yeah, it's incredible. But that's the NFL for you. I mean, you mentioned it earlier. I mean, it's
they want it this way.
They're all paid, yeah, and it's been a great first 2 weeks.
It has been. It's a great time of year. It's fall, and you can feel it happening in Olive Branch at All-Star Chevrolet. You can get a new 23 Silverado right now, today, tomorrow, this weekend. You can get financing as low as 0 interest in 3 months with no payments. Your good credit deserves it. You get it at All-Star. First exit into Mississippi on Highway 78. Take Kraft Goodman Road, and you're there. Drive a Silverado or one of the Traverse. See Kevin or Jeff if you want to do a custom order. If you're a first responder, recent college grad, military, educator, healthcare professional, right now, September is your month for bonus cash and more at All-Star in Olive Branch. See Kevin or Jeff, and they asked me to thank everyone who've brought their cars and trucks to sell at All-Star. They're paying great cash, and you can get your check today even if you owe money against your vehicle, and even if you didn't buy it at All-Star. All-Star certified and pre-owned section. It's loaded. Lots of Silverados, Rams trucks, Denali, F-150s, a good-looking Mercedes. For service or maintenance, call Jeff or Sean in the All-Star Chevy Service Department. Remember, it's not the Pike, not South Haven, not Bartlett, Mount Moriah, or Collierville. It's got to be Olive Branch. Find new roads to All-Star Chevy today or go to allstarautogroup.com.
Let's get to a break. When we come back, it'll be time for Big Number of the Day.
We are real sports talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned in to Real Sports Talk. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Want to play a private country club but only pay daily greens fees? Meadowbrook Country Club in West Memphis is your place. You can now play a beautiful, challenging course for only $59 plus tax, including cards. Meadowbrook Country Club features champion Bermuda greens and now is available to everyone. A membership is only $350 per month and includes tennis, pickleball, and swimming, plus a great restaurant and bar. Golf Pro Mark can even fix you up with custom-made tricks on clubs. Call 870-394-4186 today for your Tuesday through Sunday tee time at Meadowbrook Country Club in West Memphis.
Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company, we have it all. From handmade Amish leather belts, fine and casual clothing, boots, casual boots, work boots, fancy boots, and even safety-toed boots. Lots of cowboy hats to choose from, even Nebo lights, good-looking duck head dress shirts, duck head caps, shorts, and pants. Tons of jeans from Ariat, Wrangler, Devil Dog, and Kimes Ranch jeans. At Hewlett & Dunn, we have a great selection of Old South t-shirts and caps. Fine clothing from dress to casual to Sunday best. Enjoy choosing from UFO's orthopedic-approved shoes. Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company. Boots of every size, every color, every skin. Great quality Western, work, and safety toe boots. Hewlett & Dunn Boots and Clothing Company. 111 North Center Street, Collierville. Hewlett & Dunn. Hewlett & Dunn, serving you and your family since 1961.
Start your day the right way at La Palapa with the biggest, baddest breakfast burrito around. Chorizo, cheese, rice, beans, and eggs served with fresh salsa, and it's served all day. La Palapa has daily lunch specials, all served with rice and beans, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Try a torta, breaded chicken, steak, chorizo, or ham served with mayo, avocado, lettuce, tomato, and jalapenos, all in a hoagie. Plus amazing soups and dinner entrees, all at La Palapa, 5255 Summer Avenue. La Palapa, the little hut with big taste.
Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis in Olive Branch has an offer you can't refuse. They will pay you to do business with them if you want luxury. And I'm talking the Genesis G70 car. If you would love to have that kind of new technology, they will give you a $1,000 rebate when you finance with Genesis Motor Finance. In other words, they'll pay you $1,000 to do business with them, and you get brand new luxury. You can't beat it. That's Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis, right at the corner of Kraft Road and Highway 78 in Olive Branch. Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis in Olive Branch, where customer retention is amazing. There's a reason. They take care of you with a team that's been together for a long time. Whether it's finance or whether it's service, you can't beat them. Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis.
For the latest from the world of golf, tune in every Saturday morning from 9 to 11 for the Golf Shop Radio Show, presented by PlayGolfMyrtleBeach.com, the golf capital of the world. Hosts Mark Greenhelge and Matt Blanchard talk golf from tee to green and everything in between. If you like golf, you're going to love Golf Shop Radio. Before you tee up, drop on in. Welcome to the Golf Shop here on Sports 56. Real sports talk.
7.
12. What are we playing?
Central Barbecue has 7 different kinds of sandwiches.
Okay, does that seem like a lot?
Are you kidding? 7 may be the most perfect amount of sandwiches. See, they get the pulled pork. You can get chopped on request. Then trim sliced beef brisket sandwich. There's 2 right there.
I'm not sure exactly.
Look, you've also got the pulled chicken, the smoked turkey, the marinated portobello mushroom sandwich.
That seems like plenty.
You would think, but then you also got the smoked sausage and the barbecue bologna sandwich.
You're right. 7 may be the perfect amount of sandwiches.
The people at Central Barbecue are genius.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Big Daddy.
Hello, Big Brand.
It's a guy, he wants to be big, then he gets big, he doesn't want to be big anymore, then he gets small, but the suit's too big.
Big Daddy.
The big boy.
You're a big guy. I think she's trying to pull a fast one on Big Daddy.
The big number of the day.
So I have a couple of big numbers today. So let me decide which one I want to pull out of my hat. I will go with the number 1, Brett. Number 1 is in reference to Tua Tagovailoa and his jersey number. I saw this stat earlier today, and it just completely blew my mind. Tua is getting rid of the ball on average in 2.35 seconds. That's the shortest time to throw in the league. While he's doing that, while he's getting the ball out extremely fast, his average throw is traveling his average completion, I should say, is traveling 10.4 yards downfield. That's tied with the highest among starting quarterbacks in the NFL. So when coaches talk about they want a quarterback that gets the ball out quick and gets it downfield, Tua is absolutely doing that through 2 weeks.
My big number is a small number, but it is big and it's appropriate for Saturday for Ole Miss and Alabama in Tuscaloosa. The number is 2. That's Jackson Dart's uniform number for one thing, but the big number in the Ole Miss world, 2 wins ever in Tuscaloosa. 1988, when Ole Miss defeated Alabama the day the Bryant Museum was dedicated, effectively ending the Bill Curry era at Alabama, to lose on the day that Coach Bryant's museum and library being dedicated. And in 2015, when Ole Miss pulled the upset with Chad Kelly, that was 2 wins in a row for Hugh Freeze over Alabama, 14 in Oxford, 15 in Tuscaloosa. There's been a couple of near misses, but we had a stretch after Hugh Freeze played Alabama, beat them in 14, beat them in 15, lost by 7 in Oxford. Then in 2017, go down there and lose 66-3. Then in Oxford, narrowed it. Only 55 points, the margin of defeat, 62-7 in Oxford in 2018. Then really narrowed it. Went down with John Rice Plumlee in 2019 and only lost by 28, but allowed 59. Ooh. Then in 2020, allowed 63 to Bama in Oxford, but only to lose by 15, and then got blown out in 2021, and then the narrow game last year. I think it's going to be a game in the 30s. Do you think it's who's it conducive for? A game in the 30s, 40s? Who does it favor?
I think it favors Ole Miss if it's in the 30s and 40s.
You think track meet?
I think so. Yeah.
And see if Bama can match anything kind of under mid-20s, is it in their favor?
I think so.
In Alabama's favor?
I would think so.
Yeah.
I would think so, but who knows? I mean, I could see it going really in a ton of directions. But Brett, we're really on similar wavelengths today with our big numbers. Mine was 1, yours was 2, and both of ours were in reference to a jersey number. So that's incredible. Wow.
Yeah, and Jackson Dart wearing that 2. It was a long day for Matt Corral 2 years ago. Another 2. Boy, a lot of 2s.
A lot of 2s.
Wearing that number 2. It falls to Dart to have his college moment, because that's where you get your college moment. Quinn Ewers kind of got it last year in defeat. Now everybody knows Texas was going to win last year in Austin if he doesn't get hurt. We felt it that day. It's confirmed. It was backed up 2 weeks ago with the win. That was his college moment. It was Bo Wallace's college moment. It won the Heisman for number 2, Johnny Manziel, in 2012 in Tuscaloosa. The quarterback has to put on a show.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So I'm really excited. That's one of my top games to watch on Saturday. I'm really excited on how that can go, because I think it could go. I mean, Ole Miss, I think, has a lot to be excited about and could go in there and make it a great game. But I think there's always, Bill Bender mentioned it a little bit earlier when we were talking to him of, with Nick Saban, there's always that thought that he could really get him into shape this week and kind of wear him out, and then it just becomes a blowout with Alabama. So I'm really excited for that one.
Yeah, be real careful writing off Coach Nick Saban. I was wrong on the score in that third Hugh Freeze game. The final time he played Bama as head coach Ole Miss, it was 48-43. Not 48-41.
Yeah.
I said 7. It was 5.
I've got 1.
I mean, so he won 2 and played.
Sure did.
And he Freeze was very competitive. His first year at Ole Miss in 2012, they won 33-14. But you saw that night, when he gets his guys, this might be a game. And then in 2013, 25-zip, and then the back-to-back wins. But Saturday for Lane Kiffin in his 40th game as head coach at Ole Miss, he's 26-13. For him to get number 27, that would feel really good for him. Yeah. And I guarantee you, within 2 seconds, he'll be talking about LSU next week, win or lose. And you have to.
Absolutely. I mean, you cannot. That's my favorite quote from any coach is, we'll celebrate tonight, but then tomorrow it's on to next week. And it's so true because, you cannot celebrate too much. You cannot be too down.
Same thing for Ryan Silverfield. How long will he really, if he pulled the upset late Saturday night in St. Louis, how long could he really enjoy it? Because you got Boise next week.
Exactly. I mean, this is a tough 3-game stretch. We've talked about it a lot, this tough 3-game stretch for the Tigers. So, I mean, you can maybe celebrate that night, but that next morning, I mean, you got to start locking in on Boise State. So it should be 2 really fun games there with Ole Miss and Memphis for sure.
Are you following the beat writer dedicated to Taylor Swift and her reported tryst with Travis Kelce? Are you following it?
Not at all, Brett. Not in the slightest.
I can't describe how uncaring I am about the whole story. But I did bring it up because I'm seeing a lot of conversation about it today.
Brett, it's the headline right now. I mean, that's the biggest story seemingly in sports and music right now. A crossover.
I just hope it's real love, and I have a feeling it's not.
Yeah, hey, if the rumors are true, hope it works out for them. I hope they have fun. But man,
good luck.
I'm almost tired of hearing about it, but I don't know. I'm just ready to get to this weekend because we've got some great football games this week, and I know people are looking for places to watch and maybe start tonight with the NFL and college football, or maybe on Saturday. But I know you're looking for a spot, so let me point you into the direction of Bell Tavern, located at 117 Barbaro Alley, right behind 117 Prime. Open from 4 to 11 Wednesday through Saturday, and 4 to 8 on Sundays. I know nobody likes a loud bar where you can't hear yourself think, much less talk, but that's the opposite of Bell Tavern. Start your night with a gourmet burger and one of their great cocktails in a quiet, dimly lit bar that you can enjoy a game at with your friends. And it doesn't have to be a game, just a night out you can enjoy. It's not a sports bar, it's just a bar that has a lot of TVs. Get your night started with a burger, but Bell Tavern also has the best bar food and the coldest beer in the city, so they have a ton. 117 Prime, just walk through that dining room and you're at the best bar in town. For more information about our friends over at Bell Tavern, give them a call, 901-249-6580, or go online to belltavern.com. Well, that'll do it for our second hour. Let's wrap up this hour and get to a break. When we come back, we'll talk Tigers with Greg Gaston.
I'm Kelly Erb with Mark Spensdorf Realtors, and I just had to ask, Sheldon, did you really just buy a set of golf clubs and you never tried them out?
Yep, that's right.
And Sheldon, didn't you tell me whenever you buy a car, you never test drive it?
Again? Yep.
Don't you think that's pretty bizarre since you always tell people to talk to 2 or 3 agents when they sell their home?
Yes, it is. I'm Sheldon Rosengarten, and I'm also with Mark Spensdorf Realtors with Kelly. It's funny, we tell people that you should always talk to more than one agent to find out not only what they think about your home, but more importantly, what they will do for you. And you really need to make sure and include us in the interview process.
I agree, because how are you going to find out about our strategic marketing program with the Shellbucks option? And as people often say, when you want the job done, call Sheldon.
That's Sheldon Rosengarten and Kelly Erb. Call or email us at memphisrelocate.com or 682-1868. Do it now, 682-1868 or memphisrelocate.com.
If you want a great experience, you need to go to Genesis.
Meet Kendall Womble, who shopped several other jewelry stores but ended up at Genesis Diamonds with a bigger, better quality diamond for less.
Based on what I had seen elsewhere, I didn't know that this size diamond would be possible for me to have on my finger.
Are you ring shopping? Genesis Diamonds has one of the nation's largest selections of GIA-certified diamonds at the guaranteed best prices, bar none.
You're going to get the most value for your dollar at Genesis Diamonds. You're going to get the best customer service in town and probably in the entire state.
And that's what Kendall really loved. The personal attention, the relaxed environment, the no-pressure shopping experience.
This jewelry store was like home. It wasn't walking into corporate America. Nothing's a sales pitch here. It's all genuine. They're like a family.
Genesis Diamonds.
There would be no reason that I could ever think of that you would not go to Genesis first. And if you leave Genesis and try to shop around, you will come back to Genesis.
Memphis's direct diamond importer at Poplar and Perkins Extended.
You or someone you know or care about has dealt with a difficult divorce. When facing divorce, you need the attorneys at Rice Law. Nick and Larry Rice lead the firm with 3 generations and 7 decades of experience. Located in Memphis, serving the entire state of Tennessee and North Mississippi. Rice Law is who you need to call. Simple or difficult divorce, they know how to handle it. Call Rice Law at 901-526-6701, or for more information, visit them at aboutdivorce.com. That's aboutdivorce.com.
We interrupt this broadcast for special news and information concerning family leisure.
The world's biggest spa sale is back and bigger than ever at Family Leisure. How is that possible? Well, let me tell you. You start off with 50 different spa models to choose from 5 different manufacturers. Then you throw in up to 30% off in-stock spas and swim spas. But is that all? Oh, no. You get free upgrades on all in-stock spas, plus 24 months, same as cash. Wow! This is the kind of sale that you just can't have every day. But it's happening right now at Family Leisure, the world's biggest spa sale. Soak in the savings right now at Family Leisure, Witten Road and I-40. You know the place where family and fun come together.
Please remain calm and walk. Don't run to Family Leisure. And now back to your regular programming.
All 36 months, 650 acquisition fee, Forte LSX, PE 678,605, MSRP 21,610, Nero P507859, MSRP 41,090, EV6 P5610964, MSRP 49,687, includes all rebates and incentives, must finance through Hyundai, excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 10/2/2023 with approved credit dealers.com.
Hey, Jeff Allen, I hear Gossett Kia South on Mount Moriah is about to blow my socks off.
That's right, Randy. Get 41 MPG Highway with the 2023 Kia Forte LXS, $229 a month, $29.99 due at signing.
What about those cool new EVs?
I've got EV action with a 2023 Nero EV Win SUV, 253 miles of EPA, estimated range $269 a month, $49.99 due at signing. And a 2023 Kia EV6 Win, 134 city, 101 highway MPGE, $399 a month, $49.99 due at signing. Plus, you'll get a free charger with every EV purchase, all 36-month lease.
And Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah.
Chris Price here with Metro Builders. Is your roof leaking? Do you have mold stains on the ceiling of your home or business? Is your carrier denying your claim or offering a repair because they just don't have enough documentation? You need a contractor that performs work for insurance carriers each and every day, and Metro Builders is here to assist. This is why you call Metro Builders. At Metro Builders, we provide free estimates and consultation and love to assist homeowners with their claims. Metro Builders' process of arriving, inspecting, and diagnosing problems is second to none. Our team of Hague-certified technicians are standing by to assist you with providing estimates and photos to your carrier to document your loss. And the best part of all you owe is what your policy states. No large fees on top of the final scope. We use high-grade materials and are certified by companies like Atlas, CertainTeed, Owens Corning, and even Mulehide. We offer best-in-class warranties on all of our jobs, up to 50 years. When it comes to roofs and restoration, call Metro Builders to schedule your free inspection. Call me. 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. From the Tigers sideline, it's Tigers Talk with Memphis broadcasting legend Greg Gaston. Hear Greg weekday mornings on Sports 56 Mornings, along with Eli Savoy from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. On Twitter X at Greg_Gaston. Here's Greg with Bryant, Brett, and Jay Morgan.
Greg Gaston joins us live from St. Louis as the Tigers are already up there in preparations for this weekend's game against Missouri. Greg, how is St. Louis treating you so far?
Good afternoon, gentlemen. So far, so good. We have just arrived at the hotel in Clayton, which is a suburb of St. Louis. The team just walked in. I'm outside to do this interview. We stopped off after getting off the airplane at Top Golf. And I know Top Golf, we can't wait until it's ready to go here in Memphis, but went to the Top Golf for the first time for me and for many of the players, and had a good old time for the last couple of hours, and now it's down to business for the team.
That Top Golf out in West St. Louis, it's really nice. We can't wait to get the one here. I drove by it a few years ago going to Columbia, and I'm not kidding you. It was packed, and you could see just golf balls flying out everywhere. It looked like a scene from Independence Day shooting the alien aircraft down.
The nets are so high, Brett, that even the worst golfers in the world, or guys that are really good trying to go that high with their golf ball, cannot hit it that high. There is no chance that you can hit that thing over the net.
So Greg, a day earlier than most college football in-season road trips.
Yes, usually it's the day before, as most people know, but there's a couple of reasons why. First of all, last week playing on Thursday gave the Tigers more time to prepare, get the game plan ready to go for this battle with Missouri just outside the top 25. And they want to get into the Dome, which they will do tomorrow. They'll go through a little short practice walkthrough type deal tomorrow at the Dome to be ready for Saturday. And then it's a long day Saturday in the hotel before they leave in the afternoon to head down to the Dome for the 6:30 game. So it's a lot of time in St. Louis. It's a little bit unusual, but certainly they want to be able to get that practice in inside the Dome.
And I'm seeing a retweet from Dave Matter, who now works for the Missouri Athletics Department, retweeted from the St. Louis Sports Commission, and they've got the field decorated with the kind of the diamond letters for Mizzou and Tigers in each end zone, juxtaposed against the red seats in the Dome. It's going to be a big-time atmosphere Saturday night.
There's about 34,000 tickets already sold for this game, and I'm sure there'll be a lot of walk-ups as well. And, of course, the bulk being Missouri. We're basically in a Missouri hub here being in St. Louis, the team playing down the road in Columbia. But let's not mix it up here, Brett. You know as well as I, and as Brian knows, and J-Mo knows, and everybody knows, this is a quasi-home game for Missouri. We understand the circumstances, why this game is not in Memphis and in St. Louis, but Memphis will pick up a nice check of $1 million. They'll play this football game, and it's a big game, but a chance to really make a name for themselves early on in the season if they can knock off a team that, again, is just outside the top 25 and who beat a top 25 team last weekend.
You know what would be fun to do? I know they won't do it because the University of Memphis administration is much more classier than I am. But I would get one of those, like the old golf checks presented on 18th green, and if the Tigers won, parade around with that check. Stick it, Mizzou.
I love that.
One of those big giant circus checks, the bozo checks. I know what you mean.
We got a check and a dub.
Yeah, try to bring that check to the bank. I want to cash this check. What are you talking about here?
Can you convert this into cash, preferably small bills, please?
That's awesome. Well, Greg, I know a lot of fans and media, people who cover the Tigers, have been talking a lot this week about the defense, especially after that game against Navy. We know very different offense from Navy, but talking to the coaches, kind of being around the team this week, what are they saying about this defense going into this weekend against a Missouri offense that really threw the ball around a lot last week against Kansas State?
They feel confident. Certainly, it was a little bit of a letdown that first half of the Navy game. How much of it was Navy, the unorthodox triple option offense that you can prepare for, but when you finally get on the field, there's going to be missed assignments. It comes with the territory. How much of it was that, or how much of it was maybe a step down after playing teams like Bethune-Cookman and Arkansas State, and maybe the defense not as good as those national numbers would tell you after 2 weeks? I think they are a really good defense. I think they're deep as well on the defensive line. They got some really strong linebackers. The secondary is about as deep as it's been in a while. I think they're good, but this is going to be a huge challenge. You guys know that. Missouri can score with the best of them if Brady Cook can go, and I think there's a good chance he will, but if he can't, then you got a young quarterback and a redshirt freshman, Sam Horn, that'll take over. But if Cook can go, he's a St. Louis kid, so he's playing in front of the home fans, the home crowd, his friends, his family, and he'll be up for this game. But this team will be up for this game as well. We try to showcase their wares here in St. Louis. And the key is going to be Luther Burden III. This guy is a sensational athlete who'll be playing on Sundays. He will get the ball in many different ways. Swing passes, bubble screen, down the field. Memphis has to be very weary of this guy because he is what makes that offense tick.
Yeah, they'll really try to showcase him. Greg Gaston, our guest, he's on the Tigers sideline. He'll be there Saturday night at the Dome in downtown St. Louis, and he's with us every Thursday afternoon. It's brought to you by the law offices of Stephen Leffler, Neil's Bar and Grill, Mount Moriah Auto Sales, and Chet Whitsett, your Cry-Like Realtor. I think Luther Burden has a good chance to be the first wide receiver taken when he comes out for the draft, not next spring, but the following spring.
He has a great opportunity. He continues to put up numbers like he did last week in a national showcase game against a nationally ranked opponent to be able to do what he did. Now, again, if Brady Cook is not able to go and you have a young quarterback, they're going to probably have to be a little bit ingenious in finding ways to get him the ball. Now, Sam Horn comes in pretty heralded, so I don't want to confuse anybody that this guy can't play. He just doesn't have that experience. He's thrown 5 passes, 1 for a touchdown, but 1 for an interception. So, again, if Cook can't go, his favorite weapon is Burden. I would imagine Horn very quickly will find that relationship with Burden as well. But that, again, Fred, as I said, Memphis is going to have to be really on their P's and Q's to try to defend as best they can Burden.
We've talked about how Missouri, especially if Brady Cook's healthy, they like to throw the ball around. Burden is a fantastic player. I saw earlier today in the commercial appeal, I haven't had time to read it, but there's a story about Diego Brumfield, the cornerback who transferred in from Campbellsville. And I've been really impressed with him this year and some of the other new players in the secondary. What have you thought about this Tigers secondary, Greg?
Me too, Brian. Brumfield is a big guy. DJ Bell is a big defensive back. You have Simeon Blair, who's the leader back there, coming over from Arkansas. We have talked about him an awful lot. You lose Quindell Johnson. That's a big loss. He actually played some last weekend for the Detroit Lions. Yeah. But you replace them with some quality players, some young guys that are making a name for themselves, and a veteran guy like Simeon Blair, who at one time was a captain for the University of Arkansas. So I think the secondary has done an admirable job. The key, I think, in this particular offensive versus defensive battle with Missouri on offense and Memphis on defense is, will that offensive line for Missouri, which is big and bad, will they be able to blow the Tigers off the line, open up holes for the running backs, which will in turn open up things for whoever the quarterback is? Or, as the Memphis defense has been playing well, and I talked about it earlier. Their strength is the depth on that defensive line. Will those guys be able to match that intensity and that physicality that we'll certainly see from Missouri? That's one of the great storylines to keep an eye on.
Mm-hmm.
Greg, I wanted Mizzou to win that Kansas State game because I just have the feeling after that win and the style that they won it in, the celebration, storming the field, I want the Missouri football team. I think like the fans and some in the media still looking back to last week and maybe not concentrating on this week and maybe even looking ahead 2 weeks to when they play LSU in Columbia.
Yeah, I heard you talk about it. I think Wolo talked about it as well. Before the game even kicked, we said, what would you rather see, Mizzou winning or Mizzou losing? Well, I'd rather have Mizzou winning. Maybe they're fat and happy as opposed to losing, and then you know that they're going to be razor sharp with their focus.
Maybe desperate.
It doesn't mean, right, but it doesn't mean they won't be razor sharp. Again, they're playing in the Dome. They're playing in St. Louis. It's not their usual home of Columbia. They had to come here to St. Louis. It's not, get out of bed and it's right there. So there's going to be focus. They're going to be ready. But I'm with you 100%. If it happens to be that way, that maybe they perhaps overlooked Memphis a little bit to that daunting SEC schedule and are a little bit high on the hog after what they did to Kansas State. That's just fine and dandy for the Memphis Tigers players, staff members, coaches, and fans.
With that, we just talked about kind of what's the better style game for Ole Miss and Alabama Saturday. For Ole Miss, is it high scoring, Alabama having to match them in points, or low to the ground in a game in the 20s? What is it for Memphis and Mizzou? What's in the Tigers' favor? Make it, take it, shootout, or something in the low 20s?
I think if Memphis can go down the field early and score and know that they can score on a very good Missouri defense, they're going to feel really confident. So I would think the higher the scoring game, I think the better chance for Memphis. Now, again, you have very capable players on that other side, led by a really good quarterback. If he doesn't go, you're able to score. Sam Horn can't lead his team to match. You're feeling pretty good about being able to outscore Missouri.
Yeah, I think you're right. I'm curious, Greg. We talked to Tom Ackerman earlier in the week, and I asked him kind of the same question, but from a Missouri point of view. But from your point of view, kind of looking at this Missouri team, where are some spots, maybe some position battles that you think Memphis could have an advantage Saturday night and could kind of find ways to take those advantage and take advantage of a team like Missouri?
Defensively, if they can get pressure on the quarterback. Now, Cook, remember, he can run, but he's banged up. So even if he plays, how much will he be able to run? If Memphis can get pressure on the quarterback, again, I go back to that defensive line. I've been very impressed with that. I think that will go a long way. Force a turnover, that's critical. Offensively, it's going to be tough. But if Watson can continue to do what he's done, get to the edge, use that speed and athleticism. Now, again, he's going up against an SEC defense. This isn't that easy. They have speed and athleticism as well. But if you can break that first line of containment and get into that second level, you have a chance to get 4, 5, 6 yards on a carry. And if you do so, it makes things a lot easier. I wouldn't say easier, but it takes a lot of pressure off Seth Hennigan trying to complete second and third, second and 3, second and 4, rather than 1st and 10 or 1st and 11, not getting a yard or losing a yard on that first carry. So those initial first carries of downs, when you're going, you either got a first down or just get the ball for the first time, to be able to get chunk yardage is going to be pivotal.
Greg, last week, some real nervous moments in the Navy game. I wasn't too nervous about the outcome, but what I was nervous about is in the game and this going forward, because we're approaching middle part of his junior year now for Seth Hennigan at quarterback. A lot of football played. I'm ready for that big step up from him.
There is a little concern. You're right. This is his third year. He's been in the system now for a couple of years. He knows the system like the back of his hand. He can't make critical mistakes. And he's already thrown 3 interceptions. He's been a little loose with the football. I agree with you 100%. He has to be better, and hopefully he will be. He has the ability to be better. If Seth Hennigan is not the best Seth Hennigan he can be, Memphis is in trouble moving forward. He has to be at the top of his game.
Yeah, you're absolutely right about that. But with Seth kind of struggling a little bit, especially against Navy, But Blake Watson was unbelievable in that game Thursday night, and really kind of looking back the past couple of seasons, especially I think immediately to last year when you get Jay Ducker in and kind of the same kind of style coming from maybe a smaller school and put up great numbers at his previous school, but then kind of struggled getting into the mix and getting going early last season. But for Blake Watson, it looks just the opposite. I mean, he's really come in here and has played phenomenally through the first 3 games. What have you thought about his performance specifically last week against Navy and then just kind of this year in general?
He's our best offensive player to this point.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any question about it. Now, again, let's take it with a grain of salt. You got Bethune-Cookman, you got Arkansas State. Navy, although they're physical up front, once you get the edge, they're not real quick, they're not real athletic. So again, he took advantage of those defenses and made them pay. This is Missouri. Let's see what he can do in this Missouri game. He's not the biggest guy. He's strong, but he's not the biggest guy. I would imagine that you're going to see, for some short physical yardage, Jay Ducker get some more action in this particular game. They'll try to line up Sutton Smith in the slot, do some different things with him, try to use that speed. But again, you're going speed for speed when you're playing an SEC team, and certainly the key, I think, and what I'm more interested in than athleticism versus athleticism, because I think both teams have it, is physicality. And I thought Navy got the upper hand in the first half of the game last weekend, but luckily I saw, at least through my eyes, Memphis match that physicality and maybe even exceed it at times in the second half as that defense started to dominate. That's the big stop at the end of the game. They have to be as physical as Missouri is right from the get-go, or they could fall behind big, and if they fall behind big, it's going to be tough to catch up.
Greg Gasson on the road with the Memphis Tiger football team, the undefeated Memphis Tigers facing the undefeated Missouri Tigers Saturday night in St. Louis. And, Greg, this is all the summertime conversation and the W's and L's and how good can they be. This is exactly where most had the Memphis Tigers 3-0, and now these stakes just getting bigger. The game against an undefeated SEC team, Kyle Bonagura from ESPN and bowl predictions, having the Tigers in the Peach Bowl. We know what that would mean financially. We know what it would mean for publicity. We know these times in conference realignment how everything is kind of the pressure goes with it. Next week against Boise. Oh, this is a really good thing. This is what you play for.
This is what you play for. As you said, this is exactly where we thought they would be. So the predictions out there, that's fine. Everybody has an opinion. But let's see the prediction after this next 3 weeks, because these next 3 games, murderer's row on this schedule. If Memphis can win 2 out of these 3, that is strong. You're looking at a great opportunity to get to the conference championship game, which is the ultimate goal. It means that you have either beaten a solid Boise State team, a Tulane team, a Missouri team. These are really strong opponents. The first 3 don't compare to these 3. Let's gauge after these next 3 games. But again, if Memphis wins 2 out of 3, sweeps 3, which I think is going to be awfully hard to do, but let's say they do it, then you're looking at that rest of the season, which is a more favorable schedule, and they can make a really, really good run. We all had them predicted to win 8, 9, 10 games this year, but they're going to have to do something the next 3 weeks. They can't lose these 3, because then you will lose fan interest, and things won't be strong the rest of the way, even with victories, because you won't have that support. But you do well these next 3 weeks. I already know that they've sold a lot of tickets for that game against Boise State. You win this game on Saturday, we're going to have a huge crowd for that one.
Greg, I was listening live when y'all had Brian Moss on, and y'all got to his W's and L's, and he went out there 10-2, and I'm in the car, and I thought, I wish I had the Stones to have predicted that, because I went 9-3. I just couldn't go 10-2. Brian did, and this one this weekend, win that one. A lot of people need to pay Brian their respect.
I love Brian, but I think he's drinking the blue. Kool-Aid. I don't see an undefeated season for the Memphis Tigers. Boy,
he said 10-2. He said 10-2, not undefeated.
I'm sorry. I thought he said 12-0. I go, gosh, you got to be kidding me, Brian. But even 10-2, look, it's doable. You know it's doable, Brett, when you look at that schedule. It's absolutely
especially with
doable.
this week in the left-hand column.
There's no question about it. They're the only remaining undefeated team in the American Conference. Again, a lot of the better teams have played really strong opponents, or at least one opponent on that schedule, so it's understandable. Tulane having played Ole Miss, and you can go right down the line. But again, it's right there in front for the Tigers. Are they going to be able to step up from a physicality standpoint, from an athleticism standpoint, and knock off a team right now that is nipping at the heels of everybody to get into the top 25? This would be, I would imagine you would consider this the biggest win for Ryan Silverfield if they can get it done, right?
No, yeah.
I said that Tuesday. I thought it would be his biggest win. Now, doing all this, future forecasting, if the Tigers pull the upset this week, and got the home wins over Boise and Tulane, then at that point, I think that Tiger fans are pulling for Tulane to stay with just the two losses, the one that had to Ole Miss and the one that we're factoring in to Memphis, because Tulane still has that national gravitas from beating USC, being the Cotton Bowl champions. And if that played out as I just laid it out, it would be at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium first Saturday in December because of the head-to-head.
Let me put it this way. If Memphis is 6-0 after the first 6 games of the season, are a perfect 6-0, they will be nationally ranked. They will be looked at by all the prognosticators as the leader in the Peach Bowl, the Group of 5 representatives, and they will have a leg up on everybody to win the American Conference. We can only hope, with all the issues that we've had, with the whole stadium deal, with the realignment and things of that nature, don't we need some good news in this city? That would be fantastic. And then after that, you're in the driver's seat. Then it's up to you. And if you screw up, that's on you. But let's see if they can get there. At least 2 of the next 3. And that's a huge challenge. You guys know that. Yeah. Winning 2 of the next 3, this is the toughest stretch of the season by far. But if they can do that, hey, I'd love 6-0. I'd be very, very happy with 5-1.
Absolutely. Well, Greg, before we let you go, I am curious on the basketball front. We got the news yesterday that they're going to be doing Student Madness this year instead of Memphis Madness, only available for students. I think they did say there's going to be a broadcasting option to watch at home. But what are your thoughts on kind of trying to get the students involved and making the students priority for that Memphis Madness type event?
I absolutely love it. I was on the bus with Jeff Crane. He was sitting next to me, the deputy athletics director, and we talked about it. And for the moment, the Memphis Madness, FedEx Forum, we're talking about a lot of money that's committed to it, a lot of effort. Maybe it's run its course a little bit. I love the fact that they're going to try to get students more involved. I can tell you this, Dr. Bill Hardgrave, who's the president of the University of Memphis, wants more student involvement, and they are doing everything, no stone unturned, to try to get students more involved. I think this is fantastic because, again, it's going to be linked. You'll be able to watch it. So fans out there, I'm so disappointed I can't. No, this one's for the students. Let the students and the student athletes enjoy it.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the idea for sure. But, Greg, enjoy St. Louis and enjoy the game. We'll do it again next week.
Thank you, guys. Take care.
Thanks, Greg.
Thank you so much, Greg. Greg Aston with us every Thursday, and so informative on the Tiger beat, on the sidelines for Tiger football and covering Tiger basketball. It's a big one Saturday night for sure. This hour of our show brought to you every day by Hewlett & Dunn, Boot and Jean, on the historic square in Collierville. They've been there since 1961. Charles and Laura Hall, they own the place. Charles started working there in his teens. Now with his wife, Laura, they own the place, and it's known for all the boots, but also for clothing, accessories, and a cap for any team in any season. And Charles is going to join us soon on a Friday afternoon and visit with us live during this time period. Western wear, work boots, safety toe, soft toe, any type boot you can think of, they have it. Rubber boots, boots for every occasion at Hewlett & Dunn. From head to toe, they have you covered with every brand imaginable. Ariat, Dan Post, Anderson Bean. Whether for men or women, they have you covered.
And it's not just the boots. They have clothing, men's and women's clothing, jeans, pants, shirts, shorts, outerwear, and the best duck head collection you'll find. Charles and Laura Hall invite you to 111 North Center Street or to hewlettanddunn.com on the square in Collierville. Like I said, they also have the accessories, hats, sunglasses, boot care products, and every area team snapbacks and cool hats that you can think of. For the Tigers, Mississippi State, UT, Ole Miss, or the Razorbacks, they've got you covered. And if you're going on a trip, going on vacation, their travel bag selection is top notch. HewlettDunn.com, but also please visit and say hello at 111 Center Street on the Square in Collierville at Hewlett and Dunn. Let's get to a break, and when we come back, we'll talk about what's trending.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
The Crazy Coop, America's premier wing destination, has 27 delicious flavors to choose from and counting. Like the Buffalo Ranch, a perfect combo of ranch seasoning with a little kick. Mango Habanero, sweet taste of mango followed by the heat. Or sweet maple bourbon. The taste will remind you of chicken and waffles. And that's just 3 of the amazing 27 chicken wing seasonings that you can get at the Crazy Coop in Bartlett at 7199 Stage Road. And now open the Crazy Coop Express at 1315 Ridgeway off Poplar. Some like it hot. How about the Crazy Sweet Lemon Pepper Hot or Crazy Suicide? Can't take the heat? Get the 4-cheese roasted garlic or barbecue bacon bourbon. Ask about the $9.99 lunch special. Now those are some crazy good prices. The Crazy Coop, 2 locations, 7199 Highway 64 between Applin and Kirby Whitten and 1315 Ridgeway off Poplar. Family owned and operated, The Crazy Coop, America's premier wing destination.
Moving is stressful, but Black Tie Moving can take the worry out of the process. Whether you're moving across town or across country, moving your home or your office, your personal moving concierge from Black Tie Moving will work with you to design a plan that perfectly fits your budget and needs. And they're available 24/7 to answer any questions you have. Give Black Tie Moving a call at 901-316-6196 or go to blacktiemoving.com/Memphis to get your personal, no-obligation quote from the moving experts at Black Tie Moving.
Hi, this is Jonah Gamble, left guard for University of Memphis football. Let us help you use your home's value for all those projects or vacations you've been putting off. Now you can borrow up to 100% loan to value. No closing costs for loans $50,000 or less. Online banking accessible. Interest-only payments for the first 10 years. You can apply at southernsecurity.org or by calling our member service team at 901-452-7900. Southern Security is an equal housing lender. Southern Security is a proud sponsor of the University of Memphis.
Hey, sports fans, this is Ultimate Vegas Insider John Anthony, and I'm on fire. To prove it, I'm releasing your Thursday Night Report absolutely free on a recorded message line. Call 1-800-244-5506. I love tonight's matchup. New York-San Francisco is a monster, side and total. New York-San Francisco, critical information confirmed, plus college football. That's 5 big plays. John Anthony has you covered. I love to go 5-0 free on a recorded message. 1-800-244-5506. Information wins. John Anthony Sports #1 against the spread. New York, San Francisco is huge. Call 1-800-244-5506. You want the information? I've got it. I love to go 5-0 or the season free. Call the recorded message line 1-800-244-5506. That's 1-800-244-5506. Or go to johnanthonysports.com.
Sponsored by JFSR Group.
Ready for a new ride? We got it covered at Gossett Kia on the Pike. 41 MPG Highway, we got it with 2023 Kia Forte LXS. $229 a month, $29.99 to its signing. Get some EV action in 2023 Nero EV Wind SUV. 253 miles of EPA estimated range, $269 a month, $49.99 to its signing. Plus, check out 2023 Kia EV6 Wind. Get up to 134 city, 101 highway MPGE, $399 a month, $49.99 to its signing. And Gossett will include a free charger with your EV purchase, all 36-month leases, plus Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Ask for Bobby J. He's ready to put you in a new Kia today. Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike, or online, KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 36 months, 650 acquisition fee, Forte LSX, PE 678605, MSRP 21610, Nero P507859, MSRP 41090, EV6, P5610964, MSRP 49687, includes all rebates and incentives, must finance through Hyundai, excludes tax, title, and license. See deal for complete details, offer valid through 10/2/2023 with approved credit, dealer stock only.
Hey, if you're hungry for great Mexican food for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, got it. La Guadalupana. Guadalupana. Choose from tacos, burritos, enchiladas, sizzling shrimp, beef, or chicken fajitas, and even a Cuban sandwich filled with Mexican sauces, chicken, ham, steak, jalapenos, avocado, and more. How about super nachos topped with melted cheese, beans, sour cream, guacamole, tomato, and jalapenos? All great with nice cold beer, domestic and imported. Good prices, generous portions, great service at 2 locations, Summer Avenue and Cordova Road. La Guadalupana.
Ole Miss Rebel Yell is back. The Rebel Yell Hotline Radio Show is back on WHBQ Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Every Monday night at 6, hear the latest news on your Ole Miss Rebels with Yancey Porter with 24/7 Sports, former Ole Miss defensive tackle Mike Fitzsimmons, Gordon Ford covering SEC Sports Call, and former Ole Miss baseball announcer Gary Darby. From kickoff to free throw to extra innings, your Ole Miss Sports on the Rebel Yell Hotline Show. Right here Monday night at 6 on Sports 56, 560 AM and 98.5 FM. Your Mid-South Sports Station.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Jean Company in Collierville. Once again, here are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
If I go crazy, then will you still call me Superman?
Welcome back into Sports Time. We've got about 30 minutes, a little less than 30 minutes left in today's show, and we got to talk about what's trending. And one of the biggest things trending right now in college football is what's happening at USC between Lincoln Riley and the media that covers the USC football team. Last week, a new reporter covering the USC Trojans, it looked like a very young guy, looked like he was just out of college, probably first job out of college covering USC for one of the local papers, was suspended for, quote, violating media guidelines, the team rules for the media. And so they say you can be suspended 2 weeks and have no access to the football team, whether it be weekly press conferences, games, what have you. But now today, Lincoln Riley announced that that suspension, it sounds crazy just saying this, that the suspension on the reporter has been lifted after him and that reporter had a conversation on the phone last night. Just honestly ridiculous and crazy. I mean, just the thought of saying a suspension on a reporter has been lifted by the head coach of a team is a wild sentence.
That's right, and calmer heads. And I don't know if this occurred. I speculated earlier with Bill Bender about it, and as he said, why do you want to kind of just keep ramping it up and not do it? But I made this suggestion. What if somebody got to Lincoln Riley and said that they could stick together?
Yeah.
And that could hurt Caleb Williams come voting time. And for Caleb Williams, look, he's going to make a fortune in the NFL. But the chance to join Archie Griffin as the only two-time Heisman Trophy winner, do you want something like this with your coach against the media? And Bryant, when you say young, everybody looks young to me. But this, but this reporter looks really young.
Yeah, I went to
my goodness.
I went to his Twitter page and his profile picture. I mean, he looks like a child, and good for him. He's gonna look great when he's 50. But I'm assuming kind of same boat as I am, right out of college, probably his first job covering a team, and I mean, just to think. If I was covering a team, if I was covering USC,
that's right,
and the head coach of the team suspended me and told me,
makes an example. I
mean, that'd be embarrassing. That would be.
Sure would be.
I mean, it would make me feel terrible about myself, and I'd be so embarrassed about myself, and for something that didn't even do anything wrong. It seems like. I mean, it just is crazy. We've seen a lot of coaches, whether it be professionally or in college, try to kind of take over and dictate what is put out about their team and about their players. And I understand a coach wanting to defend their player and wanting to have their players' backs and protect them almost. But you cannot stop reporters from doing their jobs. And kudos to the reporter, like I said, very young, for sticking to his guns and doing the journalism that he was taught in school and kind of the right way of covering these teams.
Right, and look, everybody needs the other one. I mean, it takes a couple to tango. As much as they may think they don't, the USC football still needs that Orange County Register.
Yes, that's correct.
You need them because it's basically free publicity, but they have a job to do as well. They've got to tell the whole story, not just a little bit of the story. So maybe calmer heads have prevailed. But Lincoln Riley was he was a pistol at OU about stuff like this, and I just hope somebody did go and go, wait a second, Coach. This could affect Caleb Williams.
Yeah, it really could, and that's a very good point. Luca Evans, by the way, is the name of the reporter that has kind of found himself in the middle of all this, and so he put out an update, I guess, earlier this afternoon. Last night, I had a long conversation with Lincoln Riley, sharing our perspectives on the events that led to USC suspending my access. Riley made it clear his intent to protect his players. I made it clear my intent has always been to tell compelling, honest stories on USC. I respect and understand the program's outlined policies regarding media access, and any missteps came through intent of doing my job and pursuing relationship building and storytelling. I will continue the same reporting and writing with fairness, accuracy, and depth, and we reached an agreement to lift the restriction on access. So I am glad to see that that it seems like this story is having a somewhat happy ending, and this young reporter, Luca Evans, can continue doing his job that he's employed to do, because not only is it kind of, it's awful for Luca Evans and his job, but for the OK or the OC, the Orange County Register that he works for, now your beat writer is suspended and can't have access for 2 weeks. I mean, now what do you got to do? You got to move another reporter and have them cover the. I mean, it's just a complete mess. So I'm glad this has been resolved.
What was the alleged violation?
I don't know. I can't find. Now with newspapers,
because there are some rules and standards of conduct. Absolutely. I mean, I understand that, but some of them are pretty odious.
Yeah, so I'm not sure. I was trying to earlier today and earlier this afternoon try to look into these stories, because obviously the Orange County Register and a lot of the newspapers in California have been doing a great job covering this. Unfortunately, though, a lot of their stories are behind paywalls, so I'm not super clear on what he did. From what I can just a guess here, complete speculation on my part. From reading his kind of statement, I would think maybe not going through the direct channels of like interviewing a player or something like that would probably be my guess, because obviously that's a big no-no, and then putting a story out maybe if a player said something that the coach didn't want to get out there or something like that. If I had to guess, it'd probably be something like that, just getting access to a player or staff member without going through the SID and going through the coach to do that.
Forever at USC, I mean, one of the deans, one of the just great sports information directors of all time, a guy named, and I don't know if I get this pronunciation right, it was either Tim Tessalone or Tim Tessaloni. I don't know, but he was legendary out there, and I know he's retired, so I don't know who the media relations person now at USC, but forever, Tim Tessaloni was just venerable out there in the sport. But a lot of that's changed, and with new head coaches, you have new rules. And that,
sure.
A lot of that's the inside baseball story, but I do think it affects listener-reader. I do.
Oh, yeah.
And more is always better.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, Lincoln Riley has always been kind of tight-lipped with the media, and access has been questionable at times with his program and players and himself. So, I mean, it doesn't surprise me that this happened. But, like I said, I am glad that it kind of got resolved.
Yeah.
But it's ugly, though. I didn't know about it a couple days ago, and then kind of reading about it today after that new update came out that he wasn't banned anymore. Just a crazy situation. But we're, about 2 hours away from only about an hour and 15 minutes away
than
from
that for college.
And was that 6:30 game in college against Georgia State? And
that'd be the Matt Berry team. That'd be the team we had here last week.
It will be.
Dan Mullen,
it should be.
Harry Lyles. 2 out of 3 ain't bad on that crew, is it?
No, when you heard Dan Mullins isn't doing the Egg Bowl anymore, is what I heard.
Oh, shucks.
Oh,
really?
man. Yep, that's what I heard.
How am I going to spend my Thanksgiving without Dan Mullins?
I know that I've been waiting. I've known about it for a couple days, Brett. I've been waiting to tell you because I knew how devastated you'd be
I'm crushed.
I know. But it'll be all right. I'm sure it'll be a great team.
We usually watch the Christmas parade together.
That's...
Yeah, you didn't know I'm alive. No.
Oh, that's great. But no, I mean, the game tonight between Georgia State and Coastal Carolina should be a really fun game. If you're into
the Macy's Thanksgiving parade.
That's right.
Got my holidays confused.
Well, it's same thing. Tomato.
Yeah.
Santa comes out at the end, so it's basically a Christmas parade.
Oh, and it's the crowning moment.
It sure is.
When Santa
Christmas
comes strolling through.
Yeah,
that's when it starts.
Well,
it does.
I mean, depending on how you view it, I like to view the end of Halloween night, the start of Christmas, and Thanksgiving.
You do?
Thanksgiving is more of halftime.
So you can go.
For me.
You can go Christmas music that early. I love it, but I do everything I can to hold off to about December 1.
No, I can't. Not enough time. Then I only have 25 days, Brett. You stretch it out another month, double the time.
I'll have
great.
tree up by then. I'll have tree up before I leave for the Egg Bowl. So when I get home, it's done.
Yeah, well, that's a great idea. But yeah, no, I view Thanksgiving as halftime. You use Thanksgiving, you take a break from all the holiday shebang, and you celebrate Thanksgiving, and then you get right back into the Christmas spirit. It's beautiful.
And I do. I love the Egg Bowl on Thanksgiving night.
Oh, me too.
It's at Oxford or Starkville, and it's a fun, festive day, and a lot of eating, and then down to business, and hopefully not any fractured feelings.
Yeah, and now this year, add on top of it, potentially Memphis and Arkansas playing in basketball. I mean, and then all the
that
NFL.
Afternoon.
Oh, it could be.
Like
we're setting up to be a
1:30 local
fantastic.
time.
Oh yeah, it's setting up to be a fantastic Thanksgiving.
It really could be epic in that week of sports. One of my favorites, but I think I say that about every week.
Well, I mean, they're all pretty good, Brett. It's hard to find a bad week when it comes to sports. But let's get to our final break of the day. When we come back, we'll wrap up today's show with Taco Bell Crunch Time.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Chris Price here with Metro Builders. Is your roof leaking? Do you have mold stains on the ceiling of your home or business? Is your carrier denying your claim or offering a repair because they just don't have enough documentation? You need a contractor that performs work for insurance carriers each and every day, and Metro Builders is here to assist. This is why you call Metro Builders. At Metro Builders, we provide free estimates and consultation and love to assist homeowners with their claims. Metro Builders' process of arriving, inspecting, and diagnosing problems is second to none. Our team of Hague-certified technicians are standing by to assist you with providing estimates and photos to your carrier to document your loss. And the best part of all you owe is what your policy states. No large fees on top of the final scope. We use high-grade materials and are certified by companies like Atlas, CertainTeed, Owens Corning, and even Mulehide. We offer best-in-class warranties on all of our jobs, up to 50 years. When it comes to roofs and restoration, call Metro Builders to schedule your free inspection. Call me. 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717.
Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis in Olive Branch has an offer you can't refuse. They will pay you to do business with them if you want luxury. And I'm talking the Genesis G70 car. If you would love to have that kind of new technology, they will give you a $1,000 rebate when you finance with Genesis Motor Finance. In other words, they'll pay you $1,000 to do business with them, and you get brand new luxury. You can't beat it. That's Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis, right at the corner of Craft Road and Highway 78 in Olive Branch. Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis in Olive Branch, where customer retention is amazing. There's a reason. They take care of you with a team that's been together for a long time. Whether it's finance or whether it's service, you can't beat them. Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis.
Want to play a private country club but only pay daily greens fees? Meadowbrook Country Club in West Memphis is your place. You can now play a beautiful, challenging course for only $59 plus tax, including cards. Meadowbrook Country Club features champion Bermuda greens and now is available to everyone. A membership is only $350 per month and includes tennis, pickleball, and swimming, plus a great restaurant and bar. Golf Pro Mark can even fix you up with custom-made tricks on clubs. Call 870-394-4186 today for your Tuesday through Sunday tee time at Meadowbrook Country Club in West Memphis.
Step up your wings game at East Coast Wings and Grill. With 60 wing flavors and 7 heat indexes, do you have what it takes to turn the heat on your wings up to insanity? East Coast Wings and Grill is family friendly with a large variety menu to satisfy the whole bunch. Sign up today for their loyalty program and taste the rewards. For every $1 you spend, you collect a point. Earn 100 points and receive a $5 reward. Next to Lowe's off Highway 64 in Bartlett, come try America's best wings at East Coast Wings and Grill.
Your equipment search ends here. Now that's a bold statement. But at Purple Wave Auction, it's true. See for yourself at purplewave.com. Purple Wave is your online marketplace for ag and construction equipment, utility vehicles, trucks and trailers, and yes, even a classic car or two. Bidding is straightforward and simple. No reserves, no minimum bids. Ready to get started? Head to purplewave.com. Purple Wave Auction. Straight, simple, sold.
It's time to go where the season takes you, and it's the season for savings at Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike. Go for miles more with 43 MPG Highway in your 2024 Mitsubishi Mirage, $17,815 or $229 a month. 2024 Eclipse Cross eludes sleek and sporty style at $29,695 or $399 a month. Discover the new 2024 Mitsubishi Outlander SUV with third row and 7-passenger seating, now $29,885 or $449 a month, and they're all equipped with Mitsubishi's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. We're ready to put you in a new ride today at Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, or 24/7 at memphismitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 84 months, Mirage RH 00782, MSRP 18315, Eclipse RZ 001693, MSRP 30445, Outlander RZ 00762, MSRP 31385, includes all rebates and incentives, PF 695, excludes tax title and licensee dealer for complete details, offer valid through end of the month with approved credit dealer stock only.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Jean Company in Collierville. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
So how you like me now? 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 How you like me now?
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy!
This is for all the biggest crunch time.
You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Goodbye! Hello, Haskell.
It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin, this baby is over.
The double steak grilled cheese burrito, so good. Double the steak with nacho cheese sauce, seasoned rice, red strips, sour cream, and the 3-cheese blend wrapped inside a warm flour tortilla, with even more 3-cheese blend grilled on the top. The double steak grilled cheese burrito, it hits the spot now at Taco Bell. And at Taco Bell, when they say they are feeding people's lives with unexpected good, they mean it. Bowl food you can't get anywhere else.
Well, Brett, I learned that the Tigers are already in St. Louis getting ready for this weekend's game against Missouri. I also learned that the running backs have to be big this weekend. Greg talked earlier saying Blake Watson is the best offensive player on this team. We also got a text message earlier from 901 Steve who pointed out the running backs and how they need to be big for a win this weekend against Missouri. So it's going to be a really fun game, but I think you're going to need the good run game. I think you're going to need these defensive backs to step up against that pass attack of Missouri. And I want to point out, Jonah Dillon, who we've had on the show, he wrote a story earlier today. I mentioned it with Greg earlier about Diego Brumfield, who I've been really impressed with watching him play through 3 games this season. It's a very interesting feature piece about the defensive back who played at Campbellsville last year, an NAIA school in Kentucky. I remember when he signed with the team on signing day last year and going, Campbellsville, an NAIA school. That's interesting. You don't see that every day, and he has been really impressive. I was surprised to see him starting in week 1, but he has been really, really impressive. So I would tell everybody to go and check out the story from Jonah Dillon. I was just able to read about half of it, and it is unbelievable, just the story that he has gone through to get to Division I and at Memphis. Really cool, and I think he's got to be big this weekend.
It is a cool story, and it just highlights the current state of college football and the jigsaw puzzle of roster management and putting a team together really for 1 year hitches. What I learned, Cubs bullpen, it's tired, it's beaten up, and it needs someone to step up and help. The offense is fine, but the pitching will either get them to the playoffs and a chance to win it, or it'll stay one title in 115 years. Pirates tonight, then 3 at Wrigley against Colorado, and then at Braves, at Brewers to finish the year. Now, that is tough, those teams.
Sure is.
But how going for it with the Braves and Brewers, are they settling in to set up for the postseason? That might work to the Cubs' benefit.
Yeah, it really could. You're right about that. What I could have done without, we talked about Trevon Diggs, but there's more injuries coming out of Dallas with the Cowboys. I didn't exactly see who it was, or maybe I can't remember who I saw, but an offensive lineman, a starting offensive lineman, needs an MRI tomorrow, so could be another another starter out this week. And now you're playing the Cardinals, so
Brian, it sounds like in your voice the first major changes to the parade route.
Brett, I just can't deal it with these injuries. I mean, good Lord. So hopefully,
I'm not laughing about the injuries.
No, I know you're not. But
dissertation.
I'm praying for health with these guys, and hopefully I don't have to make any changes because Brett, I didn't just write down these plans that are in this notebook in pen. They were written down in Sharpie. So there's no erasing. There's no crossing over. I mean, it's in there. So oh man, it's bad.
Okay, all right. I could have done without. Be real careful writing off Coach Nick Saban and Bill Belichick. They both are kind of getting that this week, full blast. 0-2 for Bill Belichick, but both need statement wins. Their legend, it's been made a long time ago, but they're the first to tell a team. Last year doesn't matter. 3 years ago doesn't matter. 10 years ago doesn't matter. Well, if that's the case for their teams, isn't that the case for them? Ooh. They both need wins this weekend. Jets for Belichick, Ole Miss for Coach Nick Saban. And both of those teams have been pure piñatas for both of those coaches building their legend.
Yeah, where are you beaming tonight?
Beam me to Levi Stadium, site of Super Bowl 50. Had a great time there at Peyton Manning's last game, and the Broncos winning it. That was Broncos and Panthers tonight, Giants and 49ers. All-time 21-21 in this rivalry. 17-17 regular season, 4-4 postseason. They first played in 1952. Starting quarterbacks, Y.A. Tittle from LSU and Chunkin' Charlie Connerly from Ole Miss.
Oh, man, I love it. I'm beaming to Brooks Stadium, the home of the surf turf, as I heard it referred to earlier today. Coastal Carolina hosting Georgia State, an undefeated Georgia State. And on the other side, Coastal Carolina, the only loss they have this season is on the road at UCLA. Should be a great game if you're into Group of 5 football.
A good game.
It was a very good game. If you're into Group of 5 football and just love watching some of these teams play, this could be a thriller tonight on ESPN.
I'm going to watch because I can listen to Matt Berry do anything, especially with college football. His love and his passion for it, I so respect. NFL right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 after Reb Talk at 7 o'clock. Can Brock Purdy stay perfect as a starter? Niners look great week 1, not so much last week versus the Rams, but they are 0-2. Mentioned Pirates at Cubs, Giants at Dodgers. Be careful, everybody, at Giants and Dodgers, and I hope the security is braced for it.
I hope so, too. Yeah, like you said, not a ton of baseball tonight, but I think a lot of eyes are going to be on the football tonight with Thursday Night Football, Giants, 49ers, the college football game between Georgia State and Coastal Carolina. Should be a lot of fun. Enjoy your night. We'll talk to you again tomorrow afternoon.